over Seattle. And lastly, a 4-run ninth inning by San Francisco that included a game-tying double from Chris Bryant helped the Giants top the Diamondbacks in extras 5-4. For our latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
This is The Drive, coming at you live from the Copple Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
This drive is going to toughen your hides.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now, here's Connor Happer, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
No Connor Happer here on a Friday. He's taking a well-deserved break before the football season gets going. Need to find your time to get some breaks here in the summer. I'm Jake Bakovin, and we have also Rico.
Hello.
Rico Alvarez Clary. Did I say that right? Clary. All right, Clary. I should know that, but everybody just calls you Rico.
Yeah,
so
it's just
that's the
Rico.
easiest way to go.
I don't have any other names.
Oh, there's no name. You're
I'm a one-name
one
guy.
name. That's
I am.
important. That's a big to get
I've
to.
made it. I mean, so are you. You're
yeah,
Bach.
I'm Bach. Yeah, just Bach and Rico really is all
I think
I
we
really
have.
to
I
say.
think we're just a station full of one-name people.
Who else is? Well,
Happer.
Just go Happer.
Just
Yeah.
Happer. DP.
Yeah.
Mark is just Mark. We just call him Boss Man. So he has like a cool nickname too.
Jake Sorensen's young Jake sometimes. So.
Yeah, Jake Sorensen's a two-name person. He's Jake
Yeah.
Sorensen.
Tom Stevens has got the two names.
Yeah.
Rarely we will.
Sipple's
Yeah.
Steve Sipple.
Yeah, for sure.
Schaefer is just Schaefer.
That's true.
Yeah, I think
for most part,
we've got
yeah.
a lot of people that have made it and some people that haven't.
I don't know if that means you make it, but it makes it easier.
No, once you get one net, Ronaldo, Messi.
Well, I know for those guys certainly. Prince,
So
you know,
you
once you get into
LeBron.
yeah, Kobe.
Yeah,
They
one
certainly
name.
get there, but
Shaq.
I don't know if we're in that category or that group of
No, we
people
definitely
quite
are.
yet. Maybe we're
consider
definitely moving
myself-
toward that.
I consider myself the Lionel Messi of 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you big? Soccer, football overseas? They
Football?
call it, guy.
No, not really. Like I
Yeah.
pay attention every once in a while to like the big stuff, but I couldn't tell you.
Was it
anything about
Messi the
anybody.
other day that left?
Yeah,
his
well,
team?
so he's just not gonna renew his contract, so he's just gonna leave Barca. But people think he's still gonna go back. They're just gonna pay on a lot more. But PSG right now is the leader in the clubhouse, Paris Saint-Germain. So
Never heard of him.
there's that. How have you never heard of them? They're very good.
Are they? Well, I'm not a big soccer
Constant
guy.
Euro
I
Cup.
just find it interesting when because those guys are international
Pretty sure
superstars.
Neymar is at PSG. I could be wrong
Huh.
though.
But yeah, I mean those guys are international superstars, and in here, in the United States, it doesn't resonate quite as much. If you're not a soccer fan, there's some huge soccer fans, especially when the World Cup gets going. I can get into it, but for the most part, I just don't, and so I wait for the other sports to take me over. Now we're getting some of that going here. NFL football on last night. We have football from here until going into next year, so several months. USA basketball goes for gold tonight, so there's a lot of exciting things to get to. We're gonna open up with some of the stuff that Scott Frost got to here today, as he had a press conference or just open availability after practice. So we'll get into that. But I did want to also just let you know some of the news that's going on around the sport. Quickly, we'll get because we'll go throughout this throughout the show.
Yeah.
You just get one sentence to react to some of
I
these
bet.
news headlines. All right. Three-time All-American Laura Stiverns has announced her return to Nebraska volleyball.
Hey,
So that's a big one. Just coming out here recently, KD plans to sign a 4-year, almost $200 million extension with the Nets.
don't care.
Don't care. That's it.
Don't care.
That's what else do we have? Big news today in the NFL quarterback situation. Josh Allen, who's rated 88 on Madden. People know about that. 6-year, $258 million extension with the Bills. That's a big news for today.
I mean, I guess you really want to pay a man that much money, but sure, whatever.
One big season. He was like runner-up for the MVP last year.
Yeah, I guess.
He's not too bad. Not too bad. So that's kind of the big storyline.
not too good.
We'll see. You gotta have to repeat.
He's decent.
He's
for
pretty
a
darn
season.
good. Yeah. It's always, you can always have one season. And for an NFL quarterback, it's going to be
Especially
good enough to
for a
make-
guy
sign a
that's
big contract.
big like him and mobile and doesn't mind taking contact. You know who else didn't mind taking contact with big and mobile? Cam Newton. Now look at him.
That's right.
He's broke it down. He's thrown 5 picks in training camp already.
Well, maybe you could go more with the Ben Roethlisberger route.
I hope that Cam can make it. I don't care about Josh.
We're going more than the sentence on this one, but I forgot that
I
you're
know
a
it's
Patriots
fine.
fan.
I'm sorry.
Are you going for Cam Newton or number 50 back there?
Cam
quarterback?
Newton. I have a bet with one of my friends from Alabama that Cam Newton will start at least half of the games or that Mac Jones won't start until halfway through the season. So Cam has to start half the games, and then Mac can start. If Mac starts before then, I have to buy him a Mac Jones jersey. So
oh wow, big
that's
stakes and all
kind
that.
of expensive.
And lately, it's been 3 or 4 games. If they get off to even a 2-2 start and Cam's struggling, they might make the switch already.
It might be bad.
It might be bad for you, but certainly, like we said, NFL football underway with the Hall of Fame game last night. So, of course, that's just exhibition. Got to wait a little bit longer till the regular season, but exciting times in sports. Let's get you to some of these quotes from Scott Frost from the press conference.
Good old Scotty.
Availability today after practice. Of course, Nebraska getting underway week 0 against Illinois, so they are going to have to go a little bit quicker through this fall camp. And, of course, that's been a big talking point for Scott Frost. He did mention that a few times today, too, but there's not much more to add there. They're just throwing everything at him. I think that's the approach to go, especially when you're in year 4. And we unfortunately, we've been around enough new coaches to know that's kind of how it's been. Year 1, you kind of get installation. Year 2, you're still kind of throwing some things together, some tweaks. And so year 4, it certainly should be, especially with the senior-led team that they have, mostly about game reps and getting going, make sure the first team, he said today, make sure the first team kind of knows everything they're going to run this year.
Get some good practice. Yeah, and in year 4, honestly, with the amount of seniors that you have on this team, especially this team, you should be able to just start throwing things at them and they should know what they're doing. And if they don't, it's not really that concerning because they should be close enough where you just have to tweak a few things and they'll be good to go. And with the younger guys, with the senior-led team, the seniors will be able to help the younger guys understand it easier. So then, year 2 for those guys, year 3 for those guys, they'll be able to understand and help the younger ones. That's kind of what's good about having, at least in football, is getting older on the football team is helpful because you can start throwing things at the team and the older guys will be able to help the younger guys to understand it. So you can move a little bit faster. You don't have to stop every time and kind of explain to somebody why they're supposed to be in this position, why this means this, why the cadence is this, what this word means, what the signs, when they hold up the signs on the sideline, what each picture means or what the one picture you're supposed to be looking at. So with the older guys, with the senior-led team, it'll help these guys to hopefully get off to a faster start and understand more of what they're going through.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because you've had, I guess, qualms within the program, not within the program or outside the program, with the fans kind of frustrated last year. Some of the younger guys didn't get the opportunities. Maybe it's great that some of the older guys know what's going on, but you need some of that athleticism on the field. Now, hopefully, again, it's all just kind of blending to where those guys are now older. That younger athleticism you wanted to see,
yes.
They kind of know what's going on, and they can be part of that older group that's going to get the reps. And it'll be interesting to see how they kind of how long it takes some of those younger guys to get going. I know that there's still, especially at the running back position, there's some young talent that they're going to have to rely on there. So, is that going to be something that we see take over throughout the season, or is it going to be the same as, from game 1 to game 2? I think it can look drastically different. I would say by the time conference play starts, that's of course week 0. But 4 or 5 games into the year, the depth chart could look quite a bit different because then those younger guys start picking it up.
Yeah, and I mean, I was one of those people that was upset that the younger guys weren't getting on the field last season. But hearing Xavier Betts the other day speak about, I didn't get on the field because I didn't know the plays. Like they didn't want to put me out there because I'd keep asking questions about what I was supposed to do, where I was supposed to go. So I get that. I get that, the younger guys didn't understand the offense or the defense, so you couldn't put them out there. They'd be a liability if you put them out there, and that wouldn't be good for them. So I understand that part. But at the same time, I feel like they should have worked harder to get them to understand it because, like you said, the young guys are athletic as heck. So you want to get them out there. And the conference play starting week 0 is kind of an issue if you have guys that don't understand it, but with the age on this team, it should be fine. And then you get the two hopefully easier games before you head down to Norman.
Yeah, I mean, this season is going to be a lot of fun, and there's a lot of talks about getting to 500 and what the expectation should be. But that schedule, as you're mentioning, is going to be tough for Nebraska to get there. And I think it would be a successful season to get to 6-6. I know talking to DP and maybe some former coaches, it's hard to imagine walk into a locker room and say, guys, we've got to get to 6-6. But
we did good.
This is a team that, when you go 3-5 and choose not to go bowling, I mean, there seems to be some sort of problem. I mean, years and years and years of not going to a bowl. Didn't earn it last year, had the chance to go to it. Still, a team voted against it. So, I mean, hopefully a lot of these things have kind of fixed themselves, and that's not the way it works. Scott Frost is going to have to patch it together, put this thing together. But a lot of people feel good about the leadership on this team. I do want to get to some of Scott Frost's quotes, and we'll do that on the other side. We did get in a little bit late for the drive today. That's okay. Recruiting hour is always entertaining.
They were talking away there with their card game and their weird questions.
Kind of some Lee Harvey Oswald.
That last question was weird. Do you think Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone? Well, like, what? Schaefer, are you okay? What's going on there?
You can answer that question. I mean, if you can figure that one out. Oh, man, there's probably a lot of money in there for you. Yeah, and it will definitely blow up 93.7 the ticket here. So,
all right, guys, who did it? Who done it?
We figured it out.
A good old 93.7 investigative report. We're good at those. We're not good at those.
We're not great at those. But we are good at giving you Scott Frost press conference clips. So we'll do that next year. You're listening to Drive here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Everyone loves a good deal, and there's plenty of great options right now at Brown Shoe Fit for their summer clearance sale. Check out their multiple sizes and widths in sandals with brands like Clark's, Keen, Atrex, and many more. Hurry in for the best selection because this sale only goes to the end of the month. It's the summer clearance sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Don't you feel so free out here on the lake?
Not as free as this soda.
Where'd you get free soda?
Casey's. Buy 4 fountain drinks, 5th one's free.
I love free.
Well, then you'll love this. Bought this jerky, got this free donut.
I love free donuts.
With Casey's Summer of Freedom sweepstakes, the more you buy, the more you can win, including free Lee Brice concert tickets. Casey's, here for good. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. For official rules, visit Casey's.com.
Century Electric is now hiring for experienced licensed electricians. This position will serve around the Lincoln area on both commercial and residential jobs. Century Electric is well established with 40 years in operation and offers a substantial hiring bonus as well as tons of benefits. For more information or to apply, go online to centuryelectric.com and click the careers tab or call them at 402-467-5550. Come work for a great company today with Century Electric, whose commitment is always to their customers.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Where can you get a straightforward loan for a new set of wheels? Liberty First. Liberty First Credit Union looks at things differently. No hidden charges or early prepayment penalties and rates as low as 1.98% APR. Talk to a lender who's here for people, not for profits. People like you. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Rates may vary depending on year and miles. Subject to credit approval. Not available for current LFCU loans. See Liberty First Credit Union for details.
Baseball's back in Lincoln. Salt Dogs Baseball has returned, and we're celebrating their 20th season all summer long. In honor of the 20th season, the Salt Dogs are offering specials at every homestand May to September. Come on out for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury Brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dogs celebration season at saltdogs.com.
Very, very cool song here. Actually, I only like the, what is it, just the music? I don't think the lyrics are all that great.
I don't understand the lyrics, but I like it. I like the song.
I just feel like They're lazy.
Do you
lazy lyrics.
Rolling down in the deep?
I mean, that part's cool, and then the rest of it's just like, what are you talking about?
Mine goes
What are you
cold.
talking
You
about?
can call that mental freeze.
Yeah. I just
feel like an astronaut in the ocean. I don't know what that feels like, but
I don't either. I just know that, like, I always think of Dr. Dre putting together some nice beats, and then somebody comes in and just like has awful lyrics and is like,
and just ruins it.
How'd you do that?
And
You
you're like,
ruined
man,
it,
this is
yeah.
a really good instrumental, but the song is trash.
That's what I feel about that song. But people don't agree with me. People love the song.
Well, you're wrong. So.
Yeah, so I'm wrong, and I'm also too old to really tell young kids what to listen to
Old
anymore.
head.
Yeah, I'm an old head now. But let's go again. We promised some Scott Frost clips here from him speaking earlier today to the media. So let's jump into that. This question was posed for Scott. Do you have the depth chart set yet?
My bad.
Oh, that's okay. And Scott Frost answered.
Yeah, we're already kind of there, to be honest with you. We're splitting up groups a lot more, getting young guys a lot more reps. That's the way it's operated in Nebraska for a long time. I want a lot of reps to go around. Repetition matters. So when we split up, the top guys are going together almost all the time. Most positions, I think, are pretty solidified with who we think it's going to be. There's some others that are up for grabs, and we'll keep giving guys chances.
So there you heard it from Frost. He's basically got the depth chart ready to go. And again, with that week 0 game, you kind of got to be ahead of the pack there. But you also, sometimes it's just pretty obvious. I mean, you return a lot of starters. And I think when, he kind of leaves that, he doesn't mention the positions by name that are out there. But
I think we can guess.
Yeah, you could just go through it and say,
I would say
okay, here you are.
running back, middle linebacker, special teams areas,
Yeah.
minus place kicker. I think place kicker is pretty solid. But like punter.
Yeah, he talked about punter and kickoff specialists today.
Kickoff guy.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the defense I'm pretty sure is solid, or at least like you have 2 or 3 that are going to play a lot. Wide receiver, maybe. I think you have like your top 2 for sure in Omar and Samari, and then after them, it's kind of wide open, I would think.
I think Samari is filled in there. I still just the Kool-Aid from Omar last year, which translated to 3 plays. It's hard for me to
he was
to
hurt
dive
or
all the
something.
way in. Yeah,
I don't know.
He was something.
There was
never
something.
Know.
There was something.
I wasn't
with Omar.
convinced there was an Omar Manning for a while. I thought that they would just made him up.
Fake name.
Yeah. Remember
Just
the
some
hype?
guy
Remember
walking
the?
around.
I remember of course, he was the big offseason pull.
It's the
I
number
remember
one
the day
wide
they got him.
receiver
Yeah.
from JUCO.
It was just so exciting. And he was the big name, and it just didn't play out. But, he's got a chance to do it this year, look good in the spring game. I just don't know if I'd pencil him at number 2 based on the fact that he hasn't done much.
From what everybody who's been to the camps and seen the practices has said, is he is physically put together very well. And when they throw him a ball, he's almost always coming down with it. And they say he looks fantastic. So I think as long as, barring any weird something happening, I think he's, your number 2, your number 1.
Yeah.
Because I think Samari is like, I think Samari's your number 1, but I believe he would do most of his damage from the slot. Like you got a 6'2", 6'3" slot guy who can kind of burn people with great hands, a very, very cerebral, very smart kid guy.
I think he'll lead them in receptions. I think he's kind of taking, and he's coming in and taking a leadership role even on the team. Which is somewhat difficult to do sometimes if you're just kind of a 1-year rental or whatever. But I'm pretty confident in his abilities. I want to wait to see. And then it's not just hey, I don't trust Omar Manning. I think he could have a great season too. But there are other guys competing over there, and one of those was Xavier Betts. Excuse me. Here's what Scott Frost had to say about how Xavier Betts is doing.
Now, if he said that, I think he was being humble. He had a great spring.
And he's referring to their Xavier Betts said he kind of struggled in the spring, and it's good to hear your coach say, nah.
He's like,
really.
okay, don't lie.
Yeah, but for Xavier Betts, that just means he's feeling better now in the fall.
He's having a really good fall, playing at the highest level I've seen him play at since I've been coaching him. Being quarterback in Nebraska is tough. There's a lot of criticism and praise and everything that goes along with it, and I've said this a bunch, but he's in a really good spot. Going out there and working hard every day and getting better every day.
I don't know what that last part was. I don't know if he meant to say quarterback or not. I think he meant to say like wide receiver, but because he was still talking about Xavier, I think.
Yeah, I also thought that maybe he'd confuse him like they thought he was talking about Adrian. So I don't know. Either way, I think they're both doing well.
I think they're doing great. I mean, again, from the practice reports that we've heard, Xavier Betts has been putting in a lot of work and looking really good. And you saw what he could do last year, and he didn't know the plays. So
yeah.
Now a year deep in the system, getting more of the plays. Although he said, he got lazy and then he didn't work as hard during the spring. But you heard from Scott, if he was actually talking about Xavier Betts, that he was working a lot harder and that he looks really good. So, Xavier Betts is going to be out there. He's one of the more physically talented wide receivers, according to what we've heard from reports coming from camp. So I think it'll be a good thing for him that he actually knows what he's doing.
And again, everybody remembers the end around that they had where he ended up scoring on that. And I think that was one of the passing that was one of the
three passing touchdowns.
Passing touchdowns for Adrian last year. But
I thought that was a Luke passing touchdown,
or was it Luke? It might have been. Either way, neither of them had too many of them.
That was
and that wasn't really much of a pass.
It was a forward pass. It went forward.
Quarterbacks love those.
If it's dropped, it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that gives you some sort of hope. And I also, regardless of what you have on the roster, you got to be able to use that correctly. And you're mentioning too, maybe you didn't know the playbook, but you've just got to find a way to use your weapons. I think that was somewhat disappointing last year. Just the way, to me, that Luke McCaffrey was used. You saw his ability, especially kind of that big play against Ohio State, that first drive Nebraska had.
And then that play was never used again.
That play, and just the way he was used on that drive was kind of as an offensive weapon, as it could be a decoy. And if they ran with him that way all year, I thought that could have been a special package to have.
Oh yeah.
Instead, they were not even, it wasn't even like rotating quarterbacks. It was either Luke's got this game or Adrian's got this game. And if they're getting benched, they're being replaced for the game. And I just thought you really could have mixed that together a lot better. Now that's gone and done. But again, with Xavier too, if you've got a guy, if nobody else was doing that play, nobody else was really having big plays for Nebraska. If you've got a guy or two with McCaffrey in there with big playability, regardless of what they know, find a way to get them the ball. Because sometimes you just try to outsmart yourself with the X's and O's and just get out of the way of your athleticism.
I mean, I get that, but if a guy doesn't know what he's doing out there and you're just kind of throwing him in for certain packages, after a while, it's just like, okay, this is the one play that you have. After a while, somebody's going to catch on to it. Like if they just keep running that one play with Xavier, maybe it works a couple times and that would be fantastic. But you want him to know the offense. You want to be able to put him in there and do different things with him. You want to utilize his athleticism. And if he doesn't know the plays, you're not really going to put him in there because that's going to take somebody that knows what they're doing, knows exactly where they're supposed to line up, what route they're supposed to run, or who they're supposed to block, where they're supposed to be on a certain play. And you're going to be taking them out of the game for somebody who's just very athletic but doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah, but again, I mean, you obviously neither situation is ideal. But I remember when J.D. Spielman was talking about his freshman year, he said it was kind of the same thing. When he went in, didn't always know the play, didn't always know the route, just kind of faked it till he made it, and it worked fine. I mean, it's not always going to be that case. You're going to have communication issues with the quarterback, but there's some things like to say that you only know one play. You've played high school football, you've got your Division I, Power 5. We can figure out how to get you on a screen pass. We can figure out how to just throw, an out route or underneath drag route to you or something to get you in space and get you the ball. And I think that sometimes, Nebraska or under Scott Frost, they haven't utilized the talent quite as much. And hopefully we'll see that again this year if Xavier Betts can be that guy, because that's why I'm not necessarily penciling in Omar Manning, or I should say, penciling in fine, but no Sharpies here as the number 2 receiver this year or the number 1. He could fight Tua for that. I'm not saying he couldn't. I just think there's some talent there that he's going to have to fight off, and thank God for that. Of course, there's also some talent, we hope, at the running back position. A lot of unknowns there, a lot of new names coming in. One of those is freshman Gabe Ervin, and here's Scott Frost on Gabe Ervin today.
Yeah, I think Gabe's ready. And one thing I'll say about him is he came in as an adult. He was very mature in his approach to everything when he came in. That's usually the telltale mark if they're going to be ready to play early on. He's done a good job learning it. He competes, and he'll definitely be in the mix at that spot.
And you hear that your Frost say there, he's in the mix there. I know there's a lot of names there.
I think everybody's in the mix.
And that's what I was saying. There's so many names there. if I had my favorites, I'd say Irvin, Yant, and Marquise Stepp would be the top three at this point. Here's Frost on the evaluation of our Marquise Stepp, of course, the USC transfer coming in his first practices as he just began in the fall after being injured in the spring.
I've been pleasantly surprised. Yeah, asked about surprises with his Marquise Stepp's project progress. Weren't sure he was going to be 100% coming into camp. I still don't think he's quite 100%, but he's stacked some pretty good practices together. Is farther along with knowing the scheme and everything that I expected him to be. I've been really happy with his performance in the first 2 practices.
And it's going to be fascinating. Of course, Frost, like many coaches, just says everybody's doing great. Pretty much is what you hear
everybody's
from him.
great. All right.
Yeah.
Don't ask me any more questions.
Like unless somebody is like came out and taken the job, then you'll really know because they'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But other than that, these guys are coming along. He's trying to give them public support, show them that he believes in them. And I'm not saying they're not doing great. It's just you wonder if anybody's standing out from the pack because he has said before he wants the running back. The running back to be that guy, to be kind of the bell cow, and then have 2 or 3 rotation guys or 1 or 2 rotation guys to fill in there. And you just wonder if they're going to get there with this group of guys. Hopefully one of these guys can step up. It feels like it's been a long time since Nebraska's had a guy that's been, even
a workhorse running back, somebody that you can just trust on to do the things you need your running back to do, to get you, 3 yards when you need 3 yards, to get you 5 yards when you need 3 yards, just somebody that you can hand the ball off to or pass the ball to out of the backfield. And that they're going to do something with the ball as opposed to just, I guess we'll run it here because we don't want to run our quarterback for the 50th time today.
Well, and then I still have those questions because I think Dedrick Mills is going to have a chance to make the Lions. Great NFL team to try out for, by the way. Not a very good running back team since Barry Sanders left.
I think they've only had one 100-yard rushing game for a running back.
Yeah,
in the past,
it's been a long time.
Many years.
It's been a long
time.
time.
And that was like last year.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, they've moved on through Matthew Stafford. Maybe that was part of it. I feel bad. Maybe Stafford will be much better with the running game.
Now they have Jared Goff, so I don't think they got any better.
I don't think so either. But I think but my point is, I think he was good. It just seemed like last year there was something about his availability. I don't know if it's injuries, the COVID season. Who knows what was going on there? But I don't think he was utilized correctly until the Rutgers game. And
you saw what he could do.
Yeah, and then even going back to. A lot of people like to point out to Devine Ozigbo, who certainly was great, but that was like through 7 games. It's been so long since Nebraska's had a guy that you can rely on throughout a season and going into a next season saying this is the dude. So, we'll see. I don't necessarily expect that, to be honest, out of these group of guys.
You don't
I'd be
expect
pleasantly
a workhorse?
surprised. I don't expect.
Or are you going running back by kind of committee? Like there's a couple guys that not that you don't know, but a couple guys that you can see just filling in that spot, switching out for game to game or just like switching out play to play.
I think more than anything, to me, it would be a surprise if you got that between the workhorse for the first 3 or 4 games. I think this is going to be if someone's going to take that spot, it might take game reps to get, to show off what you're capable of doing and being that workhorse guy. I don't know how else you get there unless somebody really impresses in camp here.
Yeah, Gabe Ervin, from what we've heard, is the combination of power and speed that you're looking for in running back, and he's been very impressive. But again, no carries for a collegiate team since he is a freshman. But then you have Marquise Stepp coming over from USC. He's got the experience. He's got a lot of talent, but now he's coming off a foot injury. And I don't know if you know this, but your foot is very important if you're playing football.
I've heard that.
Because, you might need it. So you kind of want to work him in, and he is ahead of schedule according to the coaches, but it's foot. You never know. Just because he's ahead of schedule doesn't mean he's going to be 100% ready for the Illinois game. So you don't want to push him too hard. So even if he is your workhorse running back, the guy that you're going to go with, you might have to go put him on a pitch count at least for a couple games until he believes that he is 100% healthy and ready to go.
And it's just going to be fascinating to see that offense and see how it develops. Frost also mentioned today, I don't think we have time to play it, but I was talking about how their rushing offense was very effective. If you look at the numbers last year as opposed to the rest of the Big Ten, it's just, when they got to the red zone, they couldn't get points out of it.
No.
And of course, as you mentioned, those are important things in football as well. So,
points kind of important.
We're going to see how in a running game in the red zone is very critical for that. And we know that Nebraska's running game was mostly quarterback run. And as the defense shrinks, the field shrinks, the defense has to worry less about anybody breaking it deep. It's harder to
stay closer
trick
to the line.
people, to get to that quarterback run. So that's going to be very critical for Nebraska to get better. Maybe the most important thing to me, and I've been excited to hear Scott Frost say it in the offseason, I think he does a really good job of knowing what's wrong with the team, I guess, and addressing those needs at times.
Well, but it's just about fixing what's wrong with the team.
But this offseason, he's been very clear. They're going to try to take away a lot of those little mistakes and really emphasize special teams. And he talks about special teams again today.
Yeah, just 2 days ago, we were doing individual drills on special teams, and I think Coach Dawson, who's been doing an unbelievable job with that, said we got 138 reps of individual technique in a 10-minute period on special teams. And the guys have bought into it. Man, they're working hard in those drills. We can't find any loafs at all, people taking a play off on those drills. The guys know how important that is, and that could be a little difference for us in several games. So I see great leadership by Coach Dawson right now, and great effort and attention to detail by our team.
Attention to detail, that's going to be key. You look at it all the time.
Something that people have had an issue with.
Yeah, I mean, because the Minnesotas, the Northwesterns, the Wisconsin, the Iowas, they're not going to overwhelm you with their talent, but they're not going to kill them. They're not going to beat themselves.
Yeah.
Nebraska's been beating themselves over the head with a hammer since Scott Frost has got here with those penalties and untimely penalties. And it really hurts this offense. I mean, if they get behind the sticks, they really can't pick it up. They couldn't pass deep last year.
Yeah.
That's pretty important for third and long type of situation.
You've seen a couple videos of some long passes. Omar, Austin Allen, Samari Dig. Like the guys are they're throwing long passes and they're catching long passes. So it's something that they're working on. I'm not going to say they weren't working on it last year, but they're working on it. And the practice that was open to the media, they started with special teams, and that's what Big Ten Network said as well when they came in. After they got done with their stretching, they went straight into good on good. You've got special teams, they're kicking the ball deep, and they said that they had Omar and Samari, or Omar and Xavier. I know Omar was back catching kickoffs, so you've got some pretty talented athletic guys back, ready to receive kicks. Maybe that'll help with field positioning, which is another issue if you go back to special teams.
Yeah, I mean, and so I mean, a lot of those. I think Nebraska, the only the most positive way I can spin 5 awful seasons is that the team's not that far away from making a bowl game. And you combine that with the fact that they have a lot of fixable mistakes, like special teams, like penalties, things where they beat themselves. If you just correct those, you can win a lot of these close games, which Scott Frost has had a lot of trouble with the one possession games here at Nebraska. So, I mean, that's the best way to for me to look at it, and for me to believe that they can turn it around quickly is just fix all the little things. And hopefully they can get there. Year 4, you better be getting there. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe it's going to turn around. So they're really going to need to show it this year, or it's going to be hard to believe next year when Scott Frost goes, well, this year we're just really focusing on the little things.
We really got it. This is the best team I've ever coached. Well,
he didn't say the best practice today.
He has it.
So yeah,
I think he's learning.
He's got to hold off on that a little bit. That's started to be counted against him.
Best practice we've ever had has to wait until you're in a championship game or something. It's the best practice we've had this year.
Yeah, and then you go out on Saturday and lose a game.
Yeah, not a great practice.
Yeah, something's amiss there between the practice and the game. But that's actually let's finish here with the Scott Frost quotes about Tom Osborne being on the field. Of course, it's always nice to see Tom Osborne. It's a good one to walk away from here on the with Frost press conference clip. So here's how nice it was to see Coach Osborne on the field.
Coach Osborne's around a lot, and I want him around as much as he wants to be around. Coach Darlington's been out there. I saw Tony Samuel already this fall. We're a Husker family, and certainly Coach Osborne has been the leader of that for a long time, and we love it every time he's out there. But it's also good to see all the other guys. Adam True is at practice today. It's great to see a lot of guys that coached and wore Nebraska uniforms back at practice, being around our guys.
And it is awesome. I know the Husker media tweeted out the GOAT picture with Osborne walking around the field, and then certainly he is here at Nebraska. It's crazy how much one guy can play a factor into a program. Of course, was the offensive coordinator even for the titles that Devaney had, and then his 25-year run really just brought in this what you see today in the love that Nebraska fans have for the football program, and obviously how cool it is for Osborne to now see his former players as the head coach and athletic director here at Nebraska.
It'd be kind of wild, don't you think?
It's a quite crazy ride.
I remember when you were just a young gun in here trying to win a starting spot. Now look at you leading an athletic department.
Yeah, in spots that he's been. He was the head coach. He was the athletic director. So the Osborne tree is still pretty heavy here at Nebraska. And like he said, that's the way that they like it. That's the way I like it as a Husker fan. If you're going to fail with these guys. Don't fail with Steve Petersons and Sean Eichhorst and Bill Callahan.
Or
guys,
better idea,
Mike
just don't fail.
Well, don't fail at all. It is more important. But I feel better if it's my guys failing, not Sean Eichhorst hiring Mike Riley out of nowhere.
I don't care who it is failing. I don't like it. I don't care if it's not my guy who doesn't fail. Don't fail. I don't care who you are.
I think a lot of Husker fans probably can agree with you after the last several years at this point. And of course, the seat is getting hotter for Scott Frost entering this season. We'll talk pretty more Huskers, of course. A lot of stuff going on this weekend. USA basketball goes for gold tonight. That's an exciting one. But coming up next, we'll get to what's popping here on The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You decide to buy new flooring, you want it installed right away. Hi, Steve Carper from O Street Carpet. With our huge in-stock supply of carpet, tile, and vinyl, wood, and laminate flooring. You buy today and we'll install it right away. While other stores don't deliver that kind of service, we do. In fact, if you'd have purchased your flooring last week at O Street, you'd be enjoying it today. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street and ostreetcarpet.com.
There are fans, and then there's you. You live it. You breathe it. You want to soak it all in. Most sports talk shows are fine, but you find yourself craving more. You need the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Each day, we break down what's happening on the recruiting trail and on campus, bringing you guests from all corners of the college football world. The Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Weekdays at 2 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A few showers around the region this morning, then becoming mostly sunny and hot with a high of 95. South winds could gust over 20. We'll be looking at a chance of showers and thunderstorms very late tonight with the low down to 74. And a chance of possibly strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon with a high of 92. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Baseball's back in Lincoln. Salt Dogs Baseball has returned, and we're celebrating their 20th season all summer long. In honor of the 20th season, the Salt Dogs are offering specials at every homestand May to September. Come on out for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury Brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dogs celebration season at saltdogs.com.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Don't you feel so free out here on the lake?
Not as free as this soda.
Where'd you get free soda?
Casey's. Buy 4 fountain drinks, 5th one's free.
I love free.
Well, then you'll love this. Bought this jerky. Got this free donut.
I love free donuts.
With Casey's Summer of Freedom sweepstakes, the more you buy, the more you can win, including free Lee Brice concert tickets. Casey's, here for good. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. For official rules, visit Casey's.com.
What's on the program for this fine day?
I insist that Pop's the sound. The best is missed unless Pop's around. What's up?
What's going on?
What's crack-lacking, bro?
What's poppin'?
Yo, yo, yo! Pop, pop!
on The Drive with Connor Happer.
Once again, Connor Happer is out today, but my name's Jake Buckman. I am in for Happer along with Rico, and we have Emmett here for our tradition of What's Poppin'. Emmett, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. A lot of sports to talk. It's not sometimes if you're filling in the summer, it's pretty rough. There's not much going on.
No, we've got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of
things.
things.
If you're a regular listener to The Drive, you know Emmett as the guy who knows everything.
Is Emmett a smart guy?
He just corrects us on random things.
I know the things that no one should know.
Like there was like something about goldfish, and he corrected us and let us know what type of fish a goldfish was. He just had like random knowledge of like teams that lost to FCS teams. I was like, what is this?
Nice.
It was weird.
Yeah, you need that. You need that guy.
It was weird, but it was impressive. I have random sports knowledge and random knowledge also, but I didn't have that.
That's how I told Mark in the interview. I was like, you know what? If you need someone with random information,
I got you. I got you.
And he's like, you know what? We need that guy
All right,
here.
We'll take it.
All right, so Emmett, the random information guy, in for this. What is this? What's poppin'?
What's poppin'?
Yeah, what's poppin' here?
All right. Prison guard accused of smuggling drugs in Rice Krispie treats.
Ooh.
Marcy Schaffer allegedly hid 4 amphetamine and dextromethorphan pills in the treats before taking them into a South Carolina women's prison.
A security guard did this?
Yes.
I guess that's one way to smuggle drugs. Who's going to check a Rice Krispie treat? Obviously they did, but you know.
I heard that's more. I mean, that seems to be more of a problem than you would think. Is the security guards working on getting some? I mean, those
like I don't understand.
The prisoners don't have that much money.
Yeah, I don't understand why a security guard would work for a prisoner because it's like you don't have anything. I have I'm getting paid to do this and I can go home.
Yeah,
you're here.
My job.
Like, what are you gonna do? Get me cigarettes? I can get cigarettes out there.
I'm making a lot more money as long as I don't smuggle meth into the prison.
I guess unless it's like a boss head guy of some type of massive drug syndicate or gang that on the outside they can give you money.
True.
But if it's just like some random guy, it's just like I would like some drugs and a Rice Krispie treat, please. Like I got you.
What do you guys think of Rice Krispie treats? Sometimes
Delicious.
I think they're
pretty
delicious,
good.
and then sometimes I think it's just too much.
No, Rice Krispie treats are always good. The homemade ones are very hit.
Oh
and miss,
yeah.
Depending on who makes it.
Oh, you're right.
The
I mean,
homemade
the
ones are better than
consistency
the
of them.
packaged
No, I've had some that are just dry.
I've had some packaged ones, it just doesn't hit like homemade for me.
I
Man,
think
packaged
just
food is the
depends.
best.
I don't think anybody argues that. too
Doesn't
often.
can't go wrong.
But I guess
Those
it
robots.
does. It depends on the cooks, and if the cooks are those little elf guys,
Yeah.
they usually do pretty good.
Look, man,
Good
those
job.
elves make good food.
They know what they're doing out there.
Oh yeah.
What do we got next?
A man with the coronavirus disguised himself as his wife for an Indonesian flight. He bought the plane ticket under his wife's name, took her identity, and took her vaccine card, and dressed up as her. Went through the airport, got busted on the plane after being caught changing clothes in the laboratory.
And he currently has COVID. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, you wanted to travel.
Right as the plane landed, they took him into a room, tested him again. Obviously, it was positive, and he got arrested.
That means everybody on that plane, because the air is just recycled in there.
Yeah, it's not. That's not a good. I mean, that's very selfish of him. I wonder if his wife is going to get charged for anything. Like, she's got to be in on this, right? Or
I don't
can
know.
he just have a stolen identity case?
I was gonna say, was he traveling to see her? But he had her vaccine card. Unless she just took a picture of it, because you have to. Some places you have to like have it, or you like have a picture of it to like get through certain places. So I don't know. That's weird. I don't know if she was in on it.
Also, I don't. Pick who you want. Love chooses who it chooses, but you shouldn't be able to disguise yourself as your wife. Like, you shouldn't look like your wife.
No, man.
Put on a wig, right?
No. That's what they say. Like, if you're with somebody for long enough, you start to look like each other. And there's like, honestly, like some of my friends haven't been together that long, but like I just look at them, I'm like, you guys could be siblings. Like, this is weird. People tell me and Rachel we're getting really close to looking like each other.
I've heard that for like pets. Like, you usually get a dog or something that kind of looks like you.
I never get. I don't.
You don't
I
see that too
understand
often.
that, but I think it's weird. Like, yeah, me and my turtle are starting to look alike.
Yeah. Man, that's some rough news. Hopefully, there's not. I'm kind of worried about COVID. It seems to be popping back up. Hopefully, there's not too many more stories like that.
Hard pass.
Yeah. Anything else for us?
Homing pigeons. Truck in Florida lost about 100 pigeons on the highway, and they started to swarm and shut down an I-95 exit because they wouldn't move.
Oh,
yeah, they're pretty stupid. Pigeons are not very
dumb.
smart. Yeah.
Well, if you would have heard one of the stories I had multiple weeks ago, birds aren't real.
Oh, I've heard
those were
I've
drones.
heard that theory, yeah.
Those were drones, and somebody wanted to shut down the highway. They should check where that highway was leading. Some type of crime must have happened, or something got covered up down the road.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
took
saying.
them 3 hours to
Yeah, see?
clear up the clear
There's nobody that takes that birds aren't real thing seriously, right? I mean,
Oh, there are.
Oh, there's definitely people, and it was funny when like the government shut down, and everyone was like, "I haven't seen a bird this whole time."
People are like, weird how birds have just magically disappeared with the government shutdown. Strange, isn't it?
I see birds all the time.
Almost like the government controls them.
Let's stay out of too much government control talk.
Just saying, man. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Baby pigeon.
Yeah. You've never seen a baby pigeon, have you?
They'll probably stick in the nest.
I don't know about that.
They just show up.
Yeah. Look, I've seen baby birds of all other kinds. You know, mostly like they fall out of the nest, which is sad.
Yeah.
But never seen
Or
a
learning
baby
to
pigeon.
fly, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Maybe I think baby pigeons
They
are
just show
big.
up full grown.
All right. Maybe only I think birds are real, pigeons maybe not.
Pigeons fake,
Could
birds
make
real.
that argument. Pigeons are fake.
Okay, I can get on with that one.
All right. That'll wrap it up for what's popping here on the drive. Emmett, thank you for coming in with us. A little bit more random knowledge for us there.
Thank you.
Love it.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, I want to get into the conference realignment talk. It's since I have spoken to you guys, the world's gone crazy in college football. So we'll get my thoughts on that and continue. I mean, that's a topic I think that I could just keep on listening to forever. So
I love conference realignment.
We'll just keep on with more conference realignment talk coming up next.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonzal Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit bonzalpool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonzal Pool and Spa.
Catfish cruising, country music, and wild game cooking take center stage this week on The Revolution with Jim and Trav. Joining the boys is Dave McElroy from Hang Time with Dave, chatting upland game hunting, fishing adventures, and much more. Then Scott Lacey from Dead Meat will suss early season wild game processing. And finally, Cat Daddy calls in to rejoice that the tuna tub is back in action. The Revolution is presented by Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, World Fishing Network, and My Outdoor TV. Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Lincoln's Ticket to Sports.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Need a better job? Looking for a career? Gaina Trucking and Excavating is what you're looking for. They are a rapidly growing company looking for a heavy mechanic. Gaina Trucking and Excavating offers a team culture with lots of benefits, including 401k, health, annual raises, paid vacation, holidays, and much more. It's a great career opportunity. Want to love what you do? Join the Gaina Trucking team. Apply online at www.gainatrucking.com. That's www.gainatrucking.com.
Baseball's back in Lincoln. Salt Dogs Baseball has returned, and we're celebrating their 20th season all summer long. In honor of the 20th season, the Salt Dogs are offering specials at every homestand May to September. Come on out for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury Brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dogs celebration season at saltdogs.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
A few showers around the region this morning, then becoming mostly sunny and hot with a high of 95. South winds could gust over 20. We'll be looking at a chance of showers and thunderstorms very late tonight with the low down to 74 and a chance of possibly strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon with a high of 92. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Everyone loves a good deal, and there's plenty of great options right now at Brown Shoe Fit for their summer clearance sale. Check out their multiple sizes and widths and sandals with brands like Clarks, Keen, Atrex, and many more. Hurry in for the best selection because this sale only goes to the end of the month. It's the summer clearance sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket sports news go now.
I'm Nick Sainert. Preseason football officially kicked off last night in the Hall of Fame game between the Steelers and the Cowboys. Dallas jumped out to a 3-0 lead, but that's all they could do against Pittsburgh's defense as the Steelers won 16-3. First-round pick Najee Harris carried the ball 7 times for 22 yards, while Mason Rudolph went 6 of 9 passing for 84 yards. The USA women's basketball team beat Serbia last night 79-59 to advance to the gold medal game on Saturday. Tonight at 9:30 p.m., USA's men's basketball team will go for gold as they play France. In Major League Baseball, Daniel Lynch and 4 Royals relievers were needed to help Kansas City top the White Sox last night 3-2 on the road. Joey Gallo hit his first home run as a Yankees over the right field porch in New York's 5-3 win over Seattle. And lastly, a 4-run 9th inning by San Francisco that included a game-tying double from Chris Bryant helped the Giants top the Diamondbacks in extras 5-4. For our latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
This is The Drive. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
This drive is going to toughen your hides.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now, here's Connor Happer, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Cheers to the freaking weekend, as the great Rihanna would say. I'm Jake Balkovan, along with Rico in here for Happer.
The great Rihanna.
The great Rihanna.
My
You a big
girl.
Rihanna fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
Look, I mean this in the nicest way possible. I think everybody's a Rihanna fan.
Well, I also appreciate her music, is what I'm saying. She's had some.
Oh, we're talking about her
albums.
mute. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she makes great music.
Yeah. I wonder if she's almost like out of her prime, though, right? She's not really doing a whole lot.
I don't know if
lately.
she's doing music. Well, she has the Fenty whatever line. It's like makeup and also lingerie and
so
stuff.
she's making more money. I just don't know
Yeah,
about it.
no, she's making money, just
Yeah.
not music.
That's where the real money's at, I think, is the makeup lines and stuff. So
And
good
then
for
she's
her.
got a strong social media presence. So
of course, yeah, she's
there's that.
she's set for life.
Although her like Instagram picture is just like a stick figure face with like little lines for hair. Like it's pretty funny actually.
That is weird. Well,
She's weird.
She's a little bit weird, but I think weird's better than normal.
True.
I think that is in for,
Yeah,
for
we're all a
almost
little
almost every situation. Yeah. Let's jump into this conference realignment. I haven't had a chance to talk about it. It's one of our favorite topics. It's everybody's favorite topic. And it only pops up every 10 years, so you really got to take advantage of it. But
You got to beat it to death because it only happens once every 10 years.
I think this is the biggest move, right? I mean, the biggest move in conference realignment.
This is definitely the biggest move that has ever happened
Yeah,
in
it's
conference realignment.
Killing the Big 12.
At the time, Nebraska might have been a really big move, but then as time went on, it's kind of like, oh, I mean, just football wise, at least, it's just like, oh, never mind.
Well,
I guess not.
I think brand names, and that was, of course, the beginning to the end to the Big 12. And so some people are reaching back and saying, yeah, Nebraska and Texas and Missouri and Colorado's fault. Well, no, that's because Texas and Oklahoma was flirting back then. That's why everybody made the move, because then everybody would be in a bad situation. You wonder if the Big 12 could have existed if Oklahoma and Texas left and you still had the big brand names in Nebraska and Texas A&M. It would have been a similar situation to Oklahoma and Texas sticking around. Probably not quite the brand names of Oklahoma and Texas. So.
If you're saying Oklahoma and Texas leave and Nebraska and Texas A&M are still there, who is the Texas of that situation? Who is the team that everybody's making fun of in that situation?
What do you mean making fun of?
Like if they were to, well, I mean, if they stayed, but then if they were to leave for like a different conference, like, because like Texas right now, Texas and Oklahoma, they're both leaving for the SEC. Everybody's like, yeah, whatever. Oklahoma is cool. We don't care. Like the SEC, they're fine with Oklahoma. But the SEC is just trashing Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody is just trashing them.
Well, it's because they're not. I mean, their football program's not built for the SEC right now. If you're struggling and losing to Kansas at times, it's going to be tough to play that SEC schedule.
Yeah.
Which people can, try to argue and say the SEC is overrated all you want. This is like when Kevin Durant joined the best regular season basketball team of all time. The SEC was already great. Now you throw this in. That no weeks off thing is no joke anymore. I mean, that conference is so stacked now. It does get it to a point where these conferences are so big that you can't play everybody. So it's basically you're going. If you get up to 16, you're kind of going back to the Big 8 days with a few crossovers, right? Like you're back to the 8 on your side of the division.
Yeah,
that's what you got to win, and then you have a few crossovers. Of course, you didn't have crossovers in the Big 8 days, but
how many non-con games would you get?
I don't know. Would
you have to go with so if you want to cross, so you get the 8. If you want to crossover, you get, let's say you get one crossover.
Well, you get 7. You're one of the 8.
Yeah. Okay. So you get 7. So you get 2 crossovers, 1 crossover, and then like 2 non-con or 1 non-con, depending on how many crossovers. So I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not ideal. The fact that you're playing SEC teams 7 times.
Yeah.
8 times.
And the fascinating thing too to me is beyond this is the TV networks with people have, and I heard Happers mention the other day, sometimes downplaying the TV networks. The TV networks have created this. Oklahoma, and we knew this from the Nebraska-Oklahoma situation, Oklahoma's so fed up with Fox giving them the game of the week at 11 o'clock that they're leaving, that they're done, that they're packing up with their biggest enemy and saying, we're out of here.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Stop scheduling us at 11.
That's how frustrated they were.
Like, it's bad because, Nebraska last season, it was like, 11 o'clock game. Yeah, we suck. They're going to play at 11. Oklahoma, 11 o'clock game. Yeah, it's because we're good. We're playing at 11.
Because Fox can't compete with the CBS 2:30 game or
they're
the
like
ABC.
Big noon. That's our prime
they
time.
Took a slot. It's not a bad move from Fox. It's just when Oklahoma and Texas are the only team that are going to draw interest, so you're going to put them every week. They're going to get frustrated. I didn't understand that immediately. I mean, because it was crazy to me that the athletic director came out and said, we're done with these 11 o'clock games. I was like,
what's wrong? You're in prime time. Like,
you literally have the Fox game of the week.
Yeah,
they're bringing in Bob Stoops to replace Urban Meyer. It's like a homecoming for Bob Stoops, and you're having the athletic director go out and announce that he's disappointed that the 11 o'clock game. I couldn't understand it. Now I do.
How awkward is that for Bob Stoops that he's going to the Oklahoma games at Big Noon, probably every Oklahoma game.
Yeah,
and he's just going to be sitting there like, yeah, they're going to be leaving in 3 years.
Yeah, and we won't cover them anymore.
It's definitely
I'll probably get let go now because they're going to the SEC. But I have a job at ESPN if I want.
They're definitely not going to be there for 3. Like, they're not going to stick around for 3 years. Like, they're going to figure out a way to leave after 1 or 2.
It's very interesting
because that's so awkward.
You wonder how much. Yeah, in their everybody's got the lawyers. The Big 12's been pretty vocal about how this is not fair. This can't be done. This quickly. There hasn't been talk, and there was flirting with they're mad at ESPN. So I mean, it's just crazy. All these powers that play here: Fox, ESPN, Oklahoma, Big 12, Texas. And it always just it's crazy to me because of how many different ways it could have happened. Because Oklahoma, by legislation, it felt like for a while had to be with Oklahoma State. We were told that. And apparently that's not the case anymore. They want to continue the Oklahoma State rivalry. But
do you think Oklahoma State is okay with that?
I don't know, because Oklahoma State, just like the rest of the Big 8 now, is just out in La La Land. They don't know what's going next. The Pac-12 is meeting up with Bob Bowlesby, the leader of the Big 12, and just discussing maybe like a Pac-12 Big 12 challenge. A merger for one, or just like a challenge.
Like, we will play you every year for this many games.
And the Big Ten's just sitting there like, what do we do? Or is it going to be, I mean, are we going to try to get to that Power 4 that people have talked about for years, or should the Big Ten just eat the Pac-12? The SEC eats a few more ACC
teams,
schools
because they're not taking anybody else.
And then you have an AFC versus NFC type of thing, where at the end of the day, these teams make the playoffs. It's just Big Ten against SEC.
I wouldn't hate it, but I would also probably hate it.
I don't know.
Like, it's just so weird. I enjoy the conferences. I like the different conferences, and it's funny because each conference has their own like style of play. Like, you can tell, like, oh, this is a Big 10 team, this is an SEC team, this is a Big 12 team, this is a Pac-12 team, because you never see them because you're asleep.
Right.
But now it's just gonna be like, oh, everybody is one. These are teams. This is the not even the NCAA anymore, because it is also dead. So I don't know how I feel about conference realignment. I think the Big 10, if they need to get aggressive, because they need to make some type of move and make a big move. And Notre Dame is really the power free agent right now, who pretty much has all their eggs in the ACC basket, or at least they have been. You know, they've been playing all their football games against them. You know, their basketball team is in the ACC conference. They have a great relationship with them. But if you look at the ACC, it's Clemson, and that's it.
Yeah,
you look at the Big Ten, you know, you've got Ohio State, you've got Michigan sometimes, even though they underachieve, you've got Wisconsin, you've got Iowa, you've got Penn State, you know, Minnesota sometimes is you know, they're kind of on the up and up, except for this last season. You know, you've got some really good teams in the Big Ten, and that could carry you into, you know, another college football playoff appearance. Although this last season they were in the ACC and they made the college football playoff, or at least they were close to it. I don't remember if they made it or not. Did they make
Clemson?
it? No, Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre Dame, yeah,
they made it. So they were in the ACC, you know, with the one good team, and they made the college football playoffs. So you've got to worry about that if you're the Big Ten. You've got one big power free agent. You don't know if you're going to get them, but you need to make some type of move.
Do they though? I mean, because some people are saying it's best if the Big Ten's not going to get Notre Dame to just stay pat. Don't go out and just grab Kansas and Iowa State just to add them. You know, you don't have to jump up to the 16 teams. The SEC has not always played fair with their conference schedule games, their 8-game conference schedule games compared to the 9 that the teams went to, the other conferences went to, because it looked like the SEC was going to do that. And then once everybody else did it, said, never mind, we're not going to do that because the SEC is too hard to play. And so the SEC hasn't always played fair ball. Maybe the Big Ten should just sit back. The problem is, like you said, if you're talking about the brand names that are out there, that's why the idea has been to engulf some of the Pac-12, because if you get the USC, maybe Oregon and Washington, or a combination of those, you know, those are kind of the big brands out there. Otherwise, you do have Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's the one that I think for a long time, because they had those you know, standing rivalries with Michigan State, Michigan, and they had a lot of ties to the Pac. You know, the Big Ten, they're in the land.
I mean, they're right
Big
there.
Ten. Yeah, they like within 50 miles of, I believe, Michigan and Michigan State. So, I mean, it seemed like that was going to be the case. And if they did join, that was going to be incredible. I mean, if they could have landed Nebraska and Notre Dame at the same time, that would have just, that's the feeling everybody would have had.
That's Texas, Oklahoma right there.
That's Texas, Oklahoma. But the SEC grabbing those two, I mean, it's just, it's insane. You can't catch up to the SEC. I mean, even if you added USC and Notre Dame, you know, which would probably be the biggest names, maybe if you could grab a Clemson, maybe you could go after the SEC or ACC yourself. But
yeah, you're not. If you're
regardless,
you're
not getting Texas and Oklahoma.
If Clemson's leaving the ACC, they're going to the SEC. They're not going.
Right.
They're not going to the Big Ten. They're not going anywhere else. I mean, there were already rumors of Clemson and Florida State, you know, wanting to go to the SEC, but there was something about their streaming numbers that the SEC was like, nah, we don't want you. And then the Big Ten has this weird thing with, we're a brain conference. We only want academics. So if you're not an AAU member, we don't want you, which is going to be a problem, because the schools, not all of them, but some of the schools that are really good in athletics aren't AAU members, but they are, you know, they're still higher, they're institutes of higher learning. They're still colleges. You're still learning things, great things. You're getting an education. You're getting a scholarship. You're getting a degree after it's all said and done. but they're not AAU members like, most of the Big Ten is. So if they really want to go, the big brain conference way, that could cause some issues if they're trying to bring some more teams in.
Well, in the Big Ten's been historically pretty stuck to their own ways, right? I mean, there's so many times before the BCS, they had the different alliances and stuff that would try to pit number 1 against number 2, but the Big Ten and Pac-12 would never do it because they wanted to do the Rose Bowl, which cost 94 Penn State a chance to play Nebraska. It cost 97 Nebraska a chance to play against 97 Michigan, so they had to split the title. I mean, that stuff was getting in the way for a long time. The Big Ten wouldn't have night games in November until like 10 years ago. I mean, so there's a lot of
entrenched in tradition.
A lot of them didn't have lights in their stadiums because they wouldn't have night games.
So weird
in November. So I mean, it's too much sitting in a room and smelling your own smells, right? And the Big Ten, you're right. And now when it comes down to the academics, if they're going to be sticking around thinking about anything other than money and football product like the SEC is doing, then they're not going to be able to keep up. I mean, it's already, like we said, the move's been made. Texas and Oklahoma, you can't do anything bigger than that. All you can do is try to compete and maybe set yourself up in a situation, like I was saying, to be the other side of the power conference, which would almost turn into an AFC NFC thing.
Yeah.
Or you can stand pat, let the SEC dominate, be number 2, and let the ACC, and just let the ACC or the Pac-12 or some sort of combination, or some of these big 8 teams being left behind, but none of those are powers. Would you want the Big Ten? You said you want them to make a move.
I think they have to make a move.
But what move is there to make? KU basketball?
I don't know what move there is to make. The only move that makes sense is Notre Dame, but this is going to be so hard. We've got a texter on the Kevin in Southwest Lincoln says Notre Dame is an ACC team now after one of the Big Ten presidents tried to cancel the 2020 season. Those idiots further entrenched the Irish in the ACC because they wanted to play ball like Nebraska and Ohio State. I mean, I can't speak for Notre Dame, so I don't know if that's actually, true. If they're just like, yeah, we're going to go to the ACC because the Big Ten wanted to cancel football when it was COVID and when there was a national pandemic and things were happening. But
regardless,
that is the only move that makes sense.
The writing's been on the wall with Notre Dame and the ACC for a while now, which is
it
was shocking at a time.
You could see if you could poach some ACC teams. But
get another Maryland.
I don't know who else you would like. I mean, Virginia is like pretty. Like, I think they're an AAU member, and they're pretty good at basketball and football. I mean, they're not great.
Please don't stick to the AAU thing.
That's what they. That's the Big Ten. That's the AAU. Like they just want big brains. That's all they want in their conference. Cheeseburger. Look, Cheeseburger says Nebraska needs to leave. We don't belong. I mean, AAU wise, we don't. But Nebraska's not going anywhere.
And I know, like, a lot of people got frustrated with the Big Ten, and
where would they go?
There was talks about going back to the Big 12. The only place for Nebraska to go would be the SEC. The SEC would be an upgrade over the Big Ten, and you would be Nebraska's football program is nowhere near ready to play in the SEC.
No, but the SEC, they're focused on streaming numbers, which is why they didn't want Clemson and Florida State because their streaming numbers are too low. You look at Nebraska's streaming numbers; they're one of the best, if not, top 5. So the SEC would look at that and be like, yeah, more money for us. That would be fantastic for the SEC to bring in Nebraska money-wise. Football-wise, I don't know. I mean, Nebraska should get better. You go to the SEC, you've got the rich tradition. You can play it on recruits saying, now that Clemson or Oklahoma and Texas are there, you get more of the Texas kids again because we'll play Texas, we'll play Oklahoma. You can get some kids from Bama, we'll play Alabama, we'll play Auburn, we'll play, Mississippi State, etc. You can get more kids because their parents and their family members will be able to see them play at a Nebraska or at one of those other places. So you would have that going for them. But as of right now, based on recent history, the SEC would not really look at Nebraska to join.
No, and again, there's no reason to do that. It's just like I'm just saying, if you wanted to leave, that's where you would leave. You wouldn't go to the Big 8. That's a dying conference, or the Big 12 with 8 teams in it. That's a dying conference, and thank God Nebraska never explored that too much. But to hammer the point home, the Big Ten and the SEC are really the reason why, I mean, those are the conferences that college football, that's where the college football lives. That's why they're my favorite conferences. Now, the Big 12 used to have some of those big brands with Nebraska and Texas A&M. Again, once they left, it was just a Texas and Oklahoma conference.
Ran the entire conference.
But you look at, but the reason, I mean, I think a pretty good, way to figure out brand and how important it is for the teams and how much it carries is to look at attendance figures. And in 2019, which of course the last time you had full attendance, 20 teams, the top 20 teams, over 65,000 attendance per game, and it's over 60,000. There's nobody in between that.
Yeah.
So between 60 and 65,000, there's 20 teams in there. 17 of those teams were either in the Big 10 or SEC now that Oklahoma and Texas have moved there.
Yeah.
So the money, the interest, it's
It's
all
those
in the
two.
Big 10. It's all in the SEC. The only other 3 teams were Clemson at 14, Notre Dame at 17. Of course, you can make exceptions for them. Washington was at 18, and USC would be in there if they're good. Like there's interest in USC. They're a huge brand. If they're good, if they're not,
I mean, USC
Los
is
Angeles
just-
doesn't care.
USC is just so hard because you're in LA and there's so many other things to do than go watch a football team.
You're not going to watch a mediocre USC team.
And you've
You'll
also
go to a
got
good
2
USC
other
team.
professional football teams. You've got professional baseball. You've got professional basketball. There's
Lakers and Dodgers
So
count
many things.
by far.
Like if do you want to go to a USC football game or do you going to watch the Lakers play the Celtics?
At this point, if you have, if it's Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and Snoop Dogg on the sideline,
Yeah.
you go back to those USC games. But for some reason, USC has been sticking with the same 10-win coach
So weird.
for a long time.
You have
which-
so much talent and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah. And I just always thought they could get a bigger hire, but of course, them and
But
Texas
if they
are
join the
sleeping
Big Ten, then
giants.
they can get those Ohio kids and those Nebraska kids, and they'll get so much better.
I just don't know if, to me, that's the move if you're the Big Ten. It's not just to add teams, just to add them to keep up with the numbers with the SEC, because numbers can be one thing, unless you really want to improve your basketball. If you want Kansas in for that, or you do, like you said, Iowa State, if you want to take advantage of Iowa State being good now, you can get more money from
Get 'em
the
now.
playoffs. Yeah, get them. And to be fair to Iowa State too, they're just outside of that top 20. People underestimate how much Iowa, the state of Iowa, cares about football. Iowa is right there. I think they have like 65,000. Of course, compared to Nebraska, we look down on that. But if you're looking at top 20, 21 stadiums across the country, Iowa and Iowa State are right in there, 20 and 21. So, you have top, you typically think of a top 25 in college football. Both the Iowa schools are right in there. So
And
that
honestly,
would be awful.
I think if Iowa State joins the Big Ten, I think they get. I want to say they get better because you're in the Big 12. Well, the dying Big 12. That pretty much everybody knew this was not to this extent, like Oklahoma, Texas leaving for the SEC, but everybody kind of knew the Big 12 was kind of a failing product when Oklahoma and Texas games were accounting for, I think Happer said like 60 or 70% of all the games that Fox was carrying for the Big 12. Like it was Texas or Oklahoma were involved in those games. So if Iowa State goes to the Big 10, you've got Ohio State, Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, like those really good teams that you're going to be playing week in and week out. I think they could improve their football program, and with the Big Ten money that they'd be getting, they'd be able to improve a lot more things. So that would help a lot for Iowa State, and maybe they would continue to be, I don't want to say a powerhouse program, but they, right now they're a consistent top 15 program.
Somewhat of an up and coming program at least. And like you said, the money could be there for them. I think if they did make the move, Iowa State and Kansas, which was of course rumored at a point in time, would be the move. And of course, selfishly, if you're Nebraska, I don't care. Add anybody except for TCU and West Virginia. I just want to play old Big 8, Big 12 opponents.
Let's do
again,
it.
Right?
Bring them all in.
Right.
But I like TCU.
But especially for Lawrence, that'd be the closest drive that you can make, just outside of Kansas City. So I mean, there's that for Nebraska's sake. I would love to add Kansas and Iowa State. For the Big Ten's sake, I don't know if you add just to add.
Yeah, and I don't know how much they care about geography, which I really don't think they do. But Tommy Gunn on the text line says, "Why not Stanford?" And then your thing with the Pac-12. I can't imagine taking a flight from Maryland or Rutgers to go play Stanford.
And you know what, the Maryland and Rutgers thing also hurts too, because if you're adding Kansas, like if your last 3 editions, it's just comparing to the SEC. Like the SEC gets Oklahoma and Texas, and your last
and
3
Texas
editions,
A&M.
Yeah. And your last 3 editions are Maryland and Rutgers and Kansas. Who's winning that battle?
Sounds pretty good to me. You're getting the Kansas TV market is what you're getting.
Hey, it would definitely help the basketball conference and then be incredible. I mean, Kansas coming to town for Nebraska, even when they did that non-con thing, that was always
so much fun.
The highlight of my season as Nebraska never.
But also, Kansas football in the Big Ten, that's at least one win you can pencil in.
Yeah. Oh man, Nebraska is always going to be stuck in some sort of ugly Big 12 North, Big 10 West. Nobody's really that good type of.
What are we doing?
Division. And you'd like to complain about it, but they're not winning it enough to complain too much. But maybe we'll jump into some more expansion talk because it can lead in any direction you want it to.
Send us
There's
the teams.
So much fun.
Send us the teams you think the Big Ten should add. It doesn't have to make sense. Let's just say teams that you want to see Nebraska play in the Big Ten. Let's do it. Send them in to the Starter Haven text line or call it the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. We're here. We're talking expansion because Bach hasn't gotten to talk about it. He loves expansion. You can see it on his face.
Incredible.
Yeah, you can see it on his face if you go to the YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook channel. We are streaming. 93.7 The Ticket on Facebook, 93.7 The Ticket on Twitch, and on YouTube. Check us out. Subscribe, like, follow, whatever you got to do. We're out here. You can see Bach's happy face when he talks about expansion.
That's right. And I, for what it's worth, I also I'm a traditionalist. I would love college football to have stayed the same as how I wanted it to. But I think at this point, right, a lot of change, a lot of stuff we can't control. I think we all learned that throughout the year of 2020, and it's happening in college football. The name, image, likeness thing, the NCAA burning to the ground, basically.
It's gone.
Texas and Oklahoma leaving. In this is more about money than it is rivalries. Yes, it is, and it's sad to watch all that go away. But just kind of embrace it. I mean, it's new. It's going to be fun. I don't want a big playoff. I've always loved the idea of the regular season standing out to you, and I think this move of adding Oklahoma and Texas also adds to the playoff. It's like, okay, now we can be more like the NFL, where if you lose 2 or 3 SEC games, you're still positioning yourself pretty good to make a 12-team playoff or whatever insane number they're going to end up with that playoff. But
18 playoff is fine.
18 play. I think a 14 playoff is fine for me.
No, 8. 8 is a good number. Let's do it.
To me, the 8th best team is nowhere near as
never
good as the top 4,
You
and
never
certainly
know.
doesn't have the resume.
Hey, the
of
Giants won
top
2
4.
Super Bowls.
Yeah, that doesn't make them the best team.
They were at the time.
That's how history writes it, but I don't believe 9 and 7 teams are the best teams in the NFL. That's just me. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about LeBron as the GM of the Lakers. I know Carmelo Anthony.
Let's go.
Now Lakers, so you might be a Laker fan. I'm a Celtics fan, so I hate the Lakers, but man, these teams are entertaining. It's hard not to cheer for them. Also, big game tonight, USA and France for gold. We'll talk about that too next year on Early Break with Sid and Jake on 93.7.
That's not the right show.
Oh yeah, we're not Early Break. DP and Stevens.
That's not the right show.
All right, The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Everyone loves a good deal, and there's plenty of great options right now at Brown Shoe Fit for their summer clearance sale. Check out their multiple sizes and widths and sandals with brands like Clark's, Keen, Atrex, and many more. Hurry in for the best selection because this sale only goes to the end of the month. It's the summer clearance sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
So Planet Fitness is only $10 a month with no commitment. Pretty sweet. That's $10 a month to be in a thumbs up emoji place. Yes, I just said thumbs up emoji. It means that you're in the judgment-free zone. That's $10 a month. Join in club or online at planetfitness.com. The world judges. We don't. Planet Fitness. Be free.
2 Lincoln locations, just east of 27th and Folkways and 48th and Van Dorn.
Annual membership fee applies. Participating locations only. See club for details.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air's motto is our family serving yours. That starts with how we hire. We go through an extensive interview process to really get to know you and show you who we are. We want to help you build a great career, be challenged, have fun, and bring home an excellent weekly paycheck. We offer competitive wages with benefits, including a day off for your birthday. Apply to be a part of the John Henry's family at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
A few showers around the region this morning, then becoming mostly sunny and hot with a high of 95. South winds could gust over 20. We'll be looking at a chance of showers and thunderstorms very late tonight with the low down to 74 and a chance of possibly strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon with a high of 92. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Need a better job? Looking for a career? Gaina Trucking and Excavating is what you're looking for. They are a rapidly growing company looking for a heavy mechanic. Gaina Trucking and Excavating offers a team culture with lots of benefits, including 401k, health, annual raises, paid vacation, holidays, and much more. It's a great career opportunity. Want to love what you do? Join the Gaina Trucking team. Apply online at www.gainatrucking.com. That's www.gainatrucking.com.
Once there was a little boy that grew up in Lincoln, had to buy his first rap CD. It was Nelly's Country Grammar. That boy's me. I'm a grown man now. Don't worry, it was edited. I didn't hear a bunch of the curse words that Nelly may have been speaking of at the time.
But you don't know because
But
there were no cuss words in Country Grammar at all. Zero. Completely clean.
He was like Will Smith.
Very family friendly.
Yeah, he's a very family friendly rapper.
He's a family man.
No, that's not true. But it was a great album, and I'm sure it was even better without everything being blurped out.
Just a couple of silent spots. You're just like, I don't know what's going on, but I like it.
I'm a child. I don't know what any of this means, but it sounds cool.
Bleep, 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 bleep. Yeah. I love this song.
That was cool. Did you have a first? Do you remember your first CD?
My first CD was Chicken and Beer by Ludacris.
Oh, nice.
It was not
same type
edited.
of era.
It was not edited.
Oh, even better.
I listened to that thing multiple times a day, just all day.
Did you? What do you remember? Which like what if one of his hits were on there, or a few of them? Or that'd be hard to remember.
It's been so long.
Yeah, you got to go back and get that.
I
CD
do have
again.
to. I have to look for it. I've looked for like the like I've looked up like Chicken and Beer on like iTunes. Can't find it. And I was like,
really?
What is this?
Ah, that's messed up.
I'm like, give me my album. I need it.
That was before, with both those guys. That's kind of before, that's kind of their big albums where you really get the them, right? Before they make all the money and the rap starts to change about
it was great
different things. Yeah. So those are great first CDs.
That's a great first CD. Matthew and Hickman. My first CD was All Eyes on Me, Tupac.
See, I like it. We have a rap theme going on here.
I like it. Everybody, what was your first CD?
Yeah, let us know what was your first
Starter
CD.
Heyman text line 402-464-5685.
Or if you're old enough, cassette tape.
What was your first vinyl?
I had a first.
Hey, you know what? If
I
you're
had a
feeling
cassette tape.
really fancy, you can call in to the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Tell us what your first CD was and sing your favorite song off of it. I don't think you will.
I don't know if you've had enough to drink. It's only 4:30 on a Friday.
4:30. I want it. Do it. Let's get crazy.
Yeah, if you want to, you can do that, or just send us your
or just not
your first CDs, or just don't do that at all, and that might help as well. Of course, some response too. Cody, by the way, says first now is my first. The first now won.
Wow,
that's incredible.
Now that's what I call
my friend
a
had
great
now
CD.
won. Yeah,
Tupac's greatest hits for Faisal 5 times. Candlebox far behind. Unnamed texter.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't even.
I
know
got nothing on that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rename unnamed texter to Candlebox.
There you go. You've earned yourself a name.
There you go. You got yourself a name, unnamed texter.
We were also talking about expansion, which teams you guys would like to see on. Will join the Big Ten. Eric and Lincoln says get Miami. Of course, that was a huge non-conference game, where the loudest Memorial Stadium has been lately. That'd be awesome. Again, the travel there would be kind of weird, but
Don't
at least
care.
It'd be,
Look, man, the Big
get to
12
the
took
South.
West Virginia. I don't think geography matters.
Yeah, and I think the Big Ten would. It would be great if you could add a Clemson in Miami, get into the South, get some of those, recruits, some of those visits.
Could you
the Texas
imagine like
team.
Clemson asking the SEC to be a part of it in the SEC for some weird reason? I don't think they would, but they were like, no. Then Clemson's like, hey, Big Ten, and Big Ten's like, yes, dear God, please, yes.
But it's still like, to me, it's so much changing the game, changing this 12-team playoff and the huge conferences, just changing the game completely from we want to go undefeated and have to just making the playoffs, just losing 2 or 3 games because you're playing Alabama and Oklahoma and Clemson, and if they join, and Georgia and Florida and Ole Miss, and there's just no break. And so 6-4 is pretty good, or whatever, how many games they play. It's just going to be so different from what we've seen college football.
Look, you don't have to worry. A 6-4 team is not going to make the playoff. Even if they move it to 6, it's 6-4 team is not going to make.
In
playoff.
the SEC,
it's not going to happen.
Quality losses against Alabama and Oklahoma.
16 teams. A 6-4 team still will not make the playoffs.
Auburn almost got in with 9-3.
I guarantee you that there will be no team in the playoffs with more than 3 losses. I guarantee you.
I don't know. Eventually,
it will not happen.
If the SEC adds Clemson,
it will not happen.
It could happen. I could see it.
No.
Because what else are you going to do? Have Kansas?
Because what is it going to be? You have what is your quality losses? Alabama, Clemson, Florida, and Georgia.
Yeah,
and they're just like, they beat everybody else. Might as well let them go. That's not going to happen.
If you beat Oklahoma and Texas A&M, yeah,
that's not going to happen.
It very well could happen. I could see a world where that happens, especially if the SEC expands anymore to get like a Clemson or Florida State. Then that's all they're doing is playing for a decent record to try to get into the playoff, which ESPN owns, which also owns the SEC. So there will be favoritism there, and there should be favoritism there because clearly at that point, that conference is far and ahead better than anything that the Big Ten or anybody else could put together. I wouldn't even complain.
If the SEC takes Clemson and Florida State, that means the ACC is falling apart, and the Big Ten will be able to nab a few people, and maybe it'll make them better. I don't know.
You can nab a few people, but if they take Florida State and Clemson, then what are you nabbing?
And then the Pac-12 is also there. They got a couple teams. they're doing things.
It's just
you'll
crazy.
have some non-Power 5 teams making the playoff who are not whatever in 5. They'll be undefeated or they'll have 1 loss, and that'll take a spot away from a 6-4 team. So you won't have to worry about it.
I don't know. I'm not sure if we're going to see non-Power 5s play in the same division or league.
Oh yeah, that's also a thing we have to worry about.
There's just so much.
If
who
that
knows
happens,
what's going to happen?
If that happens, then yes, then you'll have 5 lost teams in the playoff.
I said 4.
Whatever. I had a 4 loss. I don't care. Whatever.
It's just going to be so different from what it is. Again, I don't like it, but I'm here to embrace the change because it will be fun. It just won't be college football as we know it, but it's changing. We can't help it. All we can do as Big Ten fans is hope the Big Ten does something.
You cannot stop it. You can only hope to embrace it.
Yes. Poke it with a stick. Tell it to do something.
Hey, move. Go get somebody.
Are you well, first I should just get to this since we skipped over. We can come back to it. But how much of the Hall of Fame game did you watch last night?
0.
Really?
I honestly forgot it was on.
That's
and then I started seeing highlights on Twitter, and I was like, "Ah, cool." And then I saw the final score, and I go, "I'm glad I didn't watch."
That's the Hall of Fame game score. That should be the Hall of Fame game score every year because it always turns into a non-offensive blowout, 16-3.
You've got like fourth string guys in there trying to make a team.
I don't mind.
I saw Luke Gifford got a tackle though, but he's on the 2 deep.
That's
so.
what I don't mind it is sometimes I'm more a college football fan than an NFL fan anyway, so I don't really even watch those games and say, oh, I hope this guy makes the roster. Someone like, I remember him from college.
Oh, he was so good.
Yeah.
He's not going to make the team.
There's a lot of guys like that aren't going to make it, but no, I didn't watch any of that either. So, but football's underway, and that'll be exciting. I'm sure you might watch an exhibition game here and there to get your fix, but of course real football's on the way as well. Basketball kind of has been here for a long time, almost like 2.5 seasons with our
basketball never ended.
Basketball has
it's
not
just
stopped
been going forever
for a long time, but it seems to be coming to an end tonight, where USA Basketball will take on France for gold. There was lots of questions whether USA Basketball would get there. They've lost to France in the last couple times they've played them in international play. Big one tonight. How much confidence do you have in the USA taking it home?
I have extreme confidence. Apparently, KD has finally realized that he is the best player on Team USA and the best player in these Olympics, so he's started to take over. Damian Lillard, for some reason, doesn't look like he knows how to play basketball.
It's really weird, isn't it?
It's very strange.
Force star players to play like the fourth guy role. They just look odd doing
like
it. Not ready.
It's so weird because the 3-point line is shorter in international play, and he shoots from the logo anyways. So you would think he would have zero problems with this, but apparently he can't make a basket to save his life. But Team USA is just so much more talented, and I think finally, the talent is starting to click, and they're starting to blow some teams out, even though they trailed in the last 2 games at about halftime or in the first quarter, but then they've come back and won big. So I think Kevin Durant and all those guys are starting to figure it out, and they're going to get it going because France has some good players. They've got Evan Fournier and Rudy Gobert and Frank Ntilikina and Nicholas Batum.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Nando De Colo used to play.
Yeah,
in the NBA.
they've got a couple of NBAers, but I think overall Team USA should. I'm going to say 20 points.
I was really, I don't think it's going to come down to 20 points.
France, look, they lost bad to Australia before, and they went and destroyed them this last game.
Yeah, you're right. It's possible that happens, but I think you're overlooking, how good France is, or some of these international teams have become. The gap is not what it used to be, especially since USA Basketball is not getting the best of the USA. It's kind of a lot of guys are skipping on that opportunity.
It took a Nicholas Batum game-saving block to beat Slovenia, who only has Luka Doncic.
Well, I would have loved to see Slovenia.
Luka
Doncic against the USA Basketball for gold would have been perfect. I mean, that's so good.
But that Slovenia team is just Luka Doncic.
It pretty much is just Luka Doncic.
And it took a Nicholas Batum game-saving block to win.
But if you watch USA Basketball, sure, if you just do talent, yes, they're the best team. But they don't. France's or not France. Who'd they play? Australia. Australia's defense, that looked like a team that maybe had practiced once or twice together. Like that, they had great defense. Not more than that. They're very cohesive. They play together.
The Australian
all these international ball. They looked great for a big portion of that game. Now, Patty Mills can only get you so far, especially if he's having an off night. But the point is, if you play in the NBA, like Teron Lue, for example, he's had 30-point nights. If you're good enough to play in the NBA, you can go off at any time.
Yeah.
So if you have Evan Fournier score his, 29 or whatever,
like he's great.
Yeah, he's a Knick now, so you're pretty excited.
We love Evan
about
Fournier around here.
But no, I mean that's a team with a lot of NBA experience. It's no longer just 1 or 2 guys like we just mentioned 5 guys that have played or have NBA experience. It's not a given. And again, those guys play each other. USA Basketball, Kevin Durant and Draymond are the only guys that are making their second trip or more than one trip over there. So it's not a given. The last time Nebraska included,
close enough,
didn't win was in 2004 against Argentina. You remember who led Argentina to the victory over USA?
Manu Ginobili.
That's correct. And Luis Scola.
Yes. Who is now retired from international ball. This was his last Olympics.
Finally, that guy's 41 and still on Argentina's team.
He was still rocking though. We love Luis Scola. Big Luis Scola station.
Big Luis Scola fan. But I forgot he existed until the Olympics came back around because he's been out of the NBA for a long time. But I don't think it's a given. I'm very excited for it. I like it this way. I like the fact that USA is not just rolling their helmet out on the field and winning. Different sport, but same analogy.
I know what you mean.
So I like the fact that and I've always liked international players, but to watch the game rise to a point where these teams can compete and make it for a great game. The other thing is it's in Tokyo, of course. So it's at 9:30. So it's like when Nebraska played Fresno State that one year at 9:30. I'm staying up late and watching an important game tonight. It's gonna be.
You're
fun.
gonna watch USA roll.
I don't think so. I think it'll be a close game.
Like I'm telling you, that Australia team is known for, everyone being extremely close and they practice together all the time. That's why they look so good. This France team, they're not together practicing all the time like that Australia team is, but that, like you said, they do have a lot of NBA talent on that team. But I just think that Team USA's talent has finally figured it out and they're starting to gel, because when they first started, they didn't know how to play together. And then they got, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton and Devin Booker. And then they were relearning how to play because then, I think Devin Booker got inserted into the starting lineup. So then they had to relearn how to play with him, and then they had to relearn how the bench was going to do it. They had to find out everybody's tendencies, where people like to take shots from and everything, because they don't practice together. They hadn't practiced together until now, or when they were in Las Vegas. And even then, a couple of them weren't there because they were in the playoffs. So they're finally starting to gel. They're finally starting to figure it out, and their talent is going to take them, because now, or at least this last game, it was you're down, give it to Kevin Durant, get out of the way. Nobody's going to stop him. And then if he does get double teamed, he can dish it off to somebody else who is an amazing shooter. Because this, like I said, this Team USA team is just
started
much
like
more talented.
0 of 11 beyond the arc last game.
That's true.
I'm just saying I don't think it's near as given as you is. I mean, you can, if you talk X's and O's player personnel, you're right. You can definitely talk yourself into it. I'm glad, like you are, that they are really leaning on Kevin Durant, not just
finally
like just waiting for the hot hand, whoever that may be that night. No, it's KD. He's the all-time scoring leader for Team USA, and he's clearly the best player on that team. You roll with him. So we'll see how that game plays out tonight. I don't even know. It's been weird. It's been hard to find it. Like, I've watched it at the last one on Peacock. I don't know where the
I think this one's also going to be on Peacock. I've been going to YouTube TV, and they have like the channels where it like switches between 3 Olympic sports, but then sometimes they just have a channel that's focused on one. So I'm going to try and find it on there again.
Yeah, we'll see. But it should be a good game tonight. When we come back, we will discuss video games. I know Rico is a big video game
love video
fan.
games.
Tony Hawk is actually having a documentary coming out, which is great. But mostly I'm just using it to talk about Pro Skater and different video games. We'll see if Rico, a great video game man, can recognize these games just by the sounds that I play.
Ooh, interesting.
And you guys can play along. That'll be next here on The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Keep your home comfort system running efficiently with ESP from Bryant. Get total system checks twice each year and never pay overtime on service calls. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air's motto is our family serving yours. That starts with how we hire. We go through an extensive interview process to really get to know you and show you who we are. We want to help you build a great career, be challenged, have fun, and bring home an excellent weekly paycheck. We offer competitive wages with benefits, including a day off for your birthday. Apply to be a part of the John Henry's family at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air. In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Is our internet down again? That's the question you hear around the office when you experience an outage with outdated communication services. Allo knows businesses need reliable internet to keep everything moving. This is why Tammy Stevenson of the Bridge Behavioral Health switched to Allo.
Expedient and reliable service is critical because we provide care to our clients 24/7. We're just very, very appreciative of Allo service.
To get a free quote, switch today. Visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685.
Stutzman Digging and Excavating says, for almost 250 years, our armed forces have given us the freedoms we enjoy today. Let's thank and support them in any way we can for everything they've done for us. Make no mistake, we live in the land of the free because of our brave. God bless our great nation and God bless our veterans. That's from the families at Stutzman Digging and Excavating. For all your excavating and drainage needs, call Stutzman Digging and Excavating in Milford at 402-641-1404. Stutzman Digging and Excavating, wishing you and your family good times and good health.
So Planet Fitness is only $10 a month with no commitment. Pretty sweet. That's $10 a month to be in a thumbs up emoji place. Yes, I just said thumbs up emoji. It means that you're in the judgment-free zone. That's $10 a month. Join in club or online at planetfitness.com. The world judges. We don't. Planet Fitness. Be free.
2 Lincoln locations, just east of 27th and Folkways and 48th and Van Dorn.
Annual membership fee applies. Participating locations only. See club for details.
Rolling into the weekend here on the drive with some good air guitar over there from Rico.
This is such a good song.
What is this song?
Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo, the GOAT.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. This is one good song to me. I mean, I like her other songs, but she really complains.
I'm just going to drown you out because you're being negative.
Hey, I do like this song.
Empathy's like a wounded soul. Maybe I'm too emotional. Baby, you never cared at all.
She has big problems with letting go of her boyfriend from the songs that I can hear.
Well, guess what? So does Taylor Swift, and everybody loves her.
I suppose that's true. Taylor Swift is incredible. She makes a lot of good songs. Olivia Rodrigo might be the next one.
She's the GOAT already.
She's not
just
the GOAT,
accept
though.
it.
The GOAT in pro skating, of course, is Tony Hawk. He's going to have a new documentary coming out about him. If you don't know,
Are people going to recognize him?
I think so. He did like a TikTok with Avril Lavigne recently.
Nice.
It was kind of like, whoa, what year is this?
That's a super throwback.
Yeah. And so he's having his documentary come out. He of course made a lot of money and a lot of headway from the X Games. He was able to buy his house before he graduated high school, his first house, because of all the money he made.
It's so cool.
Yeah, of course. And but he is most known for one of the best sports video games of all time, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Here's one of those. Oh, there we go. Remember that from Tony Hawk? Oh,
yep.
Hear those noises? You're definitely sick.
Everybody's just going back to their childhood.
Oh, yes.
Just reliving playing Tony Hawk.
Would you put it up there probably top 5?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Did you ever
They remastered it.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't gotten it yet. I should.
My friend got that, and I played the that level where you just kind of hang out in a warehouse.
Yes, that was great. You like break the windows.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough of
You go down
Tony
the giant ramp.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And you gotta like go collect skate the word.
Yes. It's so much fun.
It's a great
You're
game.
like, all right, I gotta get some massive air on this one.
And you only have like 2 minutes to get your score, so at the end you just manual until you run into something.
Yep.
So you can keep
You're
your
just
points.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the balance.
What a great game. For certain people of that generation, that was probably the best sports video game of the time. Let's get to some other sounds and see if you can identify some of these. My other favorite sports video games. This one's going to be pretty obvious. You're going to have to do it early because they're going to mention the name of the game. So see if you can do this as quick as you can. Try to name it.
And this game
NBA
is
Jam.
underway.
No.
Midway presents NFL Blitz.
Oh,
There
NFL
you go.
Blitz.
NFL
Oh.
Blitz. What an incredible game that was. That was before everybody would like. You would go
Those two
around
have
and-
like the same sound effects, like
Actually-
NBA Jam and MLB Blitz, minus the he's on fire and like the net swishing, like just
Yeah.
like the weird like those noises are just like the older games,
That
like
might
those
have
were in
been-
like every game.
That might have been the same guy because that NFL Blitz sounds exactly
Yeah,
like
somebody
Boom
got that.
Shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. Yeah, that might be the same guy.
That sounds like the same guy. How about this one here?
These are all sports games.
Yeah.
It sounds like Tecmo Bowl.
This is old school. This was the old school NBA Jam, actually.
Was this?
Yeah. This would be hard
Goodness.
to recognize. You probably have to be a little bit older.
Why
you
am
probably
I
played the
so-
newer version. Of
Yeah,
NBA
I
Jam,
did. I did.
Which
not
I
know.
did too, more than this one. But
Like, what is this?
I figured some people would like
Again,
this one.
a lot of the older games use like the same sound effects.
Yeah, they didn't have too much choices, I don't think. That's why I didn't. I listened to Tecmo Bowls. It's a little old for me. I know people would like it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't listen to that for too long. It just sounded
No.
like that one, except for worse.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to another one, a little bit older. See if you played this one.
So it's baseball.
Yep.
MLB. Yeah, I got nothing.
This is Ken Griffey Jr. from back on. I think this is.
Oh, I never played this one.
Oh, you never played this one? This is
No.
probably my favorite sports
Ken Griffey baseball. That's what
there
somebody
you go.
said.
Somebody knows that one. And they would like play the song while you played baseball the whole time.
Really?
So you would hear this song
Just
a
constantly.
lot.
Yeah, I never played this one.
Oh man, this was incredible. All right. One more for you to see if you can.
I
figure
am
this one
terrible.
out. Well, we probably just played different games, but this one I know you played. We'll see if you can pick it up.
Oh yeah, NCAA football.
Oh yeah,
Any of them.
This is the NCAA 2014, of course, the most recent one, which has become iconic and goes for a lot
Last
more
one.
than even asking price was at the time.
I have it.
Because it's a fun one. I do too.
I got it on PS3 and it's so fun.
This is the only reason I still have my Xbox 360.
Luckily, there's people that are still updating the roster, so you can download the latest roster, go through a season.
And with the new NCAA games, I know they're going to come out, but some schools are still having trouble going back into the like wanting to play. I can't remember which game. I think Notre Dame might have been one of them. Don't quote me on that. I don't
On
remember.
what?
There's a few schools that aren't going to agree to be in the new NCAA
Oh,
games.
I don't know who.
So it's still
Losers.
not going to be quite like the old times. So I still think NCAA 2014 is the best college football game.
There is, so you can download it on PC, and there's mods on it that they update everything. So they have the new jerseys, they have like updated
man.
stadiums, they have updated player rosters, but it's like the same game.
Yeah.
So it's just everything's just like updated and new, except for the game. So it's still like super fun. You know, you get to do that, but you get to play with, Adrian Martinez in this version of Memorial Stadium in the black jerseys that they wore.
Oh, nice. That's a lot of work for somebody to do. It's like more work than what the designers actually put into it. I was
Yeah.
a little bit disappointed. Like sometimes it'd be like, why didn't you, take a little bit extra time to ask a Nebraska fan? Could get a little bit different, a
No,
little
they don't
bit
care.
special in
They're
there.
just like, yeah, we're just gonna do
Yeah,
this.
we're just gonna throw this.
And all
out
the
there.
fans were just like flat if you looked at a certain angle, and it's just
Yeah.
like just doing this the whole
And
time.
it's my favorite thing is it's all guys. There's not
Yeah,
one
not
female.
one.
There's like 90,000
They're like,
people
girls
in Memorial
don't watch
Stadium.
girls don't watch
Yeah.
football.
Back in 2014, they're like, there's no way a girl would go to a football
Oh,
game.
this is crazy.
It just wouldn't happen. Oh, those are some great
Luckily,
great
there
video
are
games
women in the
overall.
crowds in these video games. Inclusion.
That is good. Yeah, women in sports. Who would have thought? All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll jump back into some more Nebraska football talk again, because I don't get to do this on the daily. I can come in and stir the pot back up again. I'm excited about Nebraska, Oklahoma. That so much has changed in this past year. Is that still the game that you want most? And who is Nebraska's biggest rivalry? Once you're on that topic, it's a weird question. I think everybody's got different answers.
I have
we'll
no
get to
idea.
that next here. And yeah, most people have no idea. We'll get that next here on The Drive on Early Break. Well, it's still not Early Break. This is still The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
A few showers around the region this morning, then becoming mostly sunny and hot with a high of 95. South winds could gust over 20. We'll be looking at a chance of showers and thunderstorms very late tonight with the low down to 74 and a chance of possibly strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon with a high of 92. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted Best Small Bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 505011.
Here's to days spent roaming, and to sleeping beneath the stars, to casting another line and letting time float by. From Shadron State Park to Indian Cave State Park and every recreation area, historical and state park in between. Here's to your adventures, your memories. Here's to 100 years of your Nebraska state parks. Plan your next trip today at nebraskaparks100.org. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit bonsallpool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool and Spa. Stutzman Digging and Excavating says, for almost 250 years, our armed forces have given us the freedoms we enjoy today. Let's thank and support them in any way we can for everything they've done for us. Make no mistake, we live in the land of the free because of our brave. God bless our great nation and God bless our veterans. That's from the families at Stutzman Digging and Excavating. For all your excavating and drainage needs, call Stutzman Digging and Excavating in Milford at 402-641-1404. Stutzman Digging and Excavating, wishing you and your family good times and good health.
Everyone loves a good deal, and there's plenty of great options right now at Brown Shoe Fit for their summer clearance sale. Check out their multiple sizes and widths in sandals with brands like Clarks, Keen, Atrex, and many more. Hurry in for the best selection because this sale only goes to the end of the month. It's the summer clearance sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket sports news go now.
I'm Nick Sainert. Preseason football officially kicked off last night in the Hall of Fame game between the Steelers and the Cowboys. Dallas jumped out to a 3-0 lead, but that's all they could do against Pittsburgh's defense as the Steelers won 16-3. First-round pick Najee Harris carried the ball 7 times for 22 yards, while Mason Rudolph went 6 of 9 passing for 84 yards. The USA women's basketball team beat Serbia last night 79-59 to advance to the gold medal game on Saturday. Tonight at 9:30 p.m., USA's men's basketball team will go for gold as they play France. In Major League Baseball, Daniel Lynch and 4 Royals relievers were needed to help Kansas City top the White Sox last night 3-2 on the road. Joey Gallo hit his first home run as a Yankees over the right field porch in New York's 5-3 win over Seattle. And lastly, a 4-run 9th inning by San Francisco that included a game-tying double from Chris Bryant helped the Giants top the Diamondbacks in extras 5-4. For our latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
This is The Drive. Coming at you live from the Copple Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
This drive is going to toughen your hides.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now, here's Connor Happer, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
final hour of the drive as we head into the weekend here in August. As of course, football has been kicked off with a Hall of Fame game last night. Nebraska has been in their own fall camp. So we had some earlier quotes from earlier. You can always catch that on the podcast page. Go to, what is it, theticketfm.com still?
Yes.
Never changed that?
Haven't changed that.
All right.
Good on that.
We want to make people aware at 11 o'clock. There's a big announcement on Monday.
Big news day Monday.
Nick's really excited about it.
11 a.m. Tune in here to 93.7
Yeah.
The Ticket. Download the app. You can go on there, listen to that, theticketfm.com. You can listen on there. You can listen on the Sartor Heyman video stream on
You
Facebook,
watch it, yeah.
Twitch, YouTube. You can watch us. Big announcement Monday, this coming Monday, 11 a.m. Tune in and be surprised, happy, excited. We're all excited over here.
Set an alarm for it. Do it now. Set
Yeah,
an alarm
do it
on your
now.
phone.
Set an
So
alarm.
you don't forget. 11 o'clock Monday. There's a big announcement here at the Ticket. And the
Monday, August 9th.
August 9th. The next Monday. Yeah, you don't.
No,
really
not the next.
just-
August 9th, 11 a.m. Do it now.
Do it now. And do you watch too much? I know we, like you said, we do have the Sartor Heyman. What is it?
The video stream.
The video stream. Do you watch any podcasts like as you fall asleep? For me, I watch a podcast
No.
that I watch all the time. Helps me go to sleep. So
I just fall asleep.
you just fall asleep.
Yeah, like
That's
everybody.
a healthier way to do it.
Everybody's like, oh, I have to have this TV show on, or I have to have just the TV on, or I need to have a fan going
Yeah.
because of the noise. I need a white noise machine. I need, the sound of water dripping. I know people are like, I need all this stuff. I was like, you know what I do? I get tired, I lay down, and I go to sleep.
Oh, God bless you, because it's a lot harder for some. Don't you want to solve the world's problems at that time of night if you try to
No,
sleep?
I don't. If I'm tired, I'm just like, you know what I should do? Sleep. So I get under my thing is, okay, I guess my thing is I have to have a blanket. Like it could be 100 degrees. I put the blanket on just on the top of my legs, and I have my feet out and the top of my body out, and I'm good to go. And I go to sleep. That's it.
Well, that's good for you. Sleep battles do not exist. Well, you're having sleep battles now that you're a parent, right? But
Yeah. Well, she's okay. She's been annoying, and she doesn't want to sleep lately a lot. Although she slept till 2:30 a.m. and I woke her up, or she woke up, and I went down and got her, and she didn't want to sleep in the bed with me and my wife, so me and her had to sleep on the couch.
she prefers the
Yeah,
couch?
I was like, do you want to go sleep in the bed with mommy and daddy? And she goes, no. When she said couch, I was like, okay,
Oh.
I guess we'll sleep on the couch. So that was fun. But then she stayed asleep till 7:30 this morning, and I was late for my class. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
fine.
how's your class going? I haven't asked you about that either.
It's going good. It's going good.
How
It's,
much longer you got? It's only like a few weeks.
It's a 10-week thing. This is week 4. So we're coming to the end of week 4. Yeah, coming to the end of week 4. So we're about halfway. And it's going good. I feel better. I feel energized. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-week challenge, or you don't have to do the 10-week challenge. You could just sign up and they'll take you through the workouts, and it's fantastic, man. My shirts are looser, my pants are looser. I'm feeling good.
Oh,
It's
nice.
It's nice.
I'm losing a little weight myself. I'm just doing the what is it? The intermittent eating.
Oh,
Intermittent, yeah.
Yeah.
Intermittently eating.
Something.
I just don't eat close to my bedtime is basically what I try to do.
I eat right before I go to bed.
That's the worst way to do it.
I'm just like, you know what? Food sounds good.
I've actually, if I still want to eat before I go to bed, I eat like popcorn with not very much salt on it. That's pretty good way to go.
Weird.
Not
You're a weird
it's
guy.
Not, well, it's just in the I don't want to get up
I'll
and
have like a
and
whole bowl.
work
I'll
to
have like a
lose weight.
whole bowl of cereal. Not lately. I've
Wake
been
up in the
there's
middle of
also
the night and chug milk.
there's also like a food portion. They're not like putting you on like a diet or anything. They're just giving you they tell you you have to eat this much protein and this many carbs and like this and this. They actually have you eat more food than you're
Than what
probably
you're
used
used
to, because you're trying to put on muscle. You're not trying to lose weight. It's body shaping is what they say. It's not body weight loss.
Yeah.
So they're trying to shape your body into a much healthier you.
I said my body's all sorts of shapes.
My body
Good on
is a
that.
shape. That is
Yeah.
true. Let's mold it. Let's use you're like clay, and they're trying to just make you look good.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to do. I might have to try that sometime if I don't reach my
They
weight
do-
loss goal.
I say they do 10-week challenges. I don't know how often, but they do them a decent amount. And just sign up 10 weeks, hardcore workouts. You get through it, you feel good. It is that first week was rough. The second week was
Yeah,
a
I
little better,
bet,
and
yeah.
now it's still hard. But I feel like instead of what they say, instead of being like dragged along like the first week, I was like, I'm barely making it through these workouts.
Yeah.
Now I'm making it through the workouts, and I'm like pushing myself to keep going, as opposed to like, I don't want to do this. I'm so tired. Like I'm just kind of like dragging along, whatever. I'm like pushing myself like, all right, you could do more. You could do this. Like,
was there a point in the first week where you say, I'm not making 10 weeks?
yeah, there was.
Yeah.
It honestly was probably the first day.
Yeah, I bet.
Like I got pretty close to the end of it's about 45-minute workout. I got close. It was like 3 minutes left, and I was like, I need to go to the bathroom, and I threw up a little bit, and I was like, I'm not gonna make it 10 weeks. We're gonna see how long I go, but I don't know. But here I am, 4 weeks later, feeling great.
Yeah, that's an amazing experience, and then hopefully, and I know you will come out a lot better than that. I had
hot dad summer. Keep going.
There you go. I had a pretty cool experience too recently. I actually went to Wichita, Kansas. You ever been to Wichita?
I have. I went for a USATF meet.
Oh, nice.
It was Junior Olympics.
I just went for a wedding. What did you think of Wichita?
It is a town in Kansas.
It's the biggest town in Kansas. I thought it was pretty cool. It's a weird. I like to go to different campuses, so I went to Wichita State's campus and kind of snuck in on their baseball stadium and their basketball stadium. It was pretty cool, and I found the mascot, the Shocker guy. He's pretty scary. Yeah,
We there was like a tornado warning while we were down. It was super hot. It was like 114 degrees, like on the track. Like people were jumping in ice baths after their race. Like it was hot, and there was like a tornado warning, so we all had to go inside the basketball arena, which is right next to the track.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
Nice
it is.
basketball
It's a
arena.
cool little.
I wouldn't mind
campus.
watching. It's weird. It's like a hive.
Yeah,
Like it's
Well,
so
it's
it
very
like
circular.
Yeah, it like gets bigger as it goes up. It's just very just enclosed. It's kind of weird, but I liked it.
Yeah, it's cool. Everything's on campus. I like the feeling. The little Shocker logo guys
Mhm.
everywhere. So it's kind of a cool campus. I only bring it up because we're in the Midwest and there's nowhere to go. So like other than like Kansas City and Denver, or if you want to take longer drives than that,
Minneapolis,
Omaha,
Chicago.
Well, those like eight hour drives. Of course, if you fly,
I
it
mean,
wouldn't be as
Denver's
bad.
what, like 6?
Yeah, I guess Denver's
Denver's like 8.
almost
What are you
just
talking
as
about?
bad. You really can only go to Kansas
It's
City.
6 hours to Sydney, Nebraska. I think it's like 8 hours to Denver, so that's still pretty far.
I'm just bringing it up to say, if you wanted to, it wouldn't. I had a fun experience. You could go to Wichita and have a fun weekend there.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Well, it's almost like a Lincoln or
Nobody's taking a
like-
vacation to Wichita, dude.
But if you're passing through, it's on the way to.
What do you do? It's like, oh, honey, what do you want to do? You know what we should do? We should go to Wichita.
You should.
That sounds great. Nobody's gonna just go down to Wichita to be in Wichita.
We are Lincolnites. We cannot look down on Wichita's of the world.
No, yes, we can.
No, we can't. It's the same
And
thing.
we will.
It's the same thing. It's like if you want to. It's the same thing with Lincoln.
I'm not a Lincolnite. I'm
wouldn't-
from Omaha. I
well,
just
whatever.
live here.
I wouldn't tell somebody that Lincoln's a crazy great place to vacation all the time, but you could stay a weekend in Lincoln. You
People
could do the same thing in
vacation
Wichita.
people vacation in Lincoln during sports seasons. Nobody's coming to Lincoln during the summer. Nobody's doing that.
No, not generally.
No, so it's fine.
But Omaha,
and we
Omaha,
could talk
you
down.
spend a weekend
We
in
could talk
Omaha.
down to Wichita. I'm Garrett. I bet Wichita talks down to Lincoln. It's fine.
No, there's no way.
Every city talks down to the other. New
I
York
know.
talks down to L.A. L.A. talks down to New York.
I
It's
just
fine.
I didn't spend too much time in Kansas, so I was glad to
Good.
know that there's
Don't
at
spend
least
too much
something
time in Kansas.
I disagree.
Even Kansas City, Kansas doesn't like itself. Kansas City, Missouri is the superior Kansas City. We all know it.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's where
This is
Royals are
superior
on that
Kansas
side,
City.
The Royals.
It's not. Kansas City, Kansas is garbage.
Maybe we'll ask Steve Sipple if he's ever been to Wichita. He's going to join us here. in
And I have
about-
friends from Kansas. I
about
don't
10
care.
minutes. Yeah, talk down to him. That's what really is what. That's what the basis of the rivalry between your border states is. It's basically the same. So we hate you.
I mean, look.
Kansas and
South-
Nebraska and Iowa, they're all the same
Look,
thing.
Iowa garbage, Kansas garbage,
No.
Colorado is actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
South
agrees with
Dakota
that.
garbage. So,
Oh, no. They're all about.
oh, what you have Mount Rushmore and Hot Springs? Good for you.
What does Nebraska have?
Nothing. Still garbage. Doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. They're all about the same. And for most of them, there's like 2 or 3 cities you could go to and have a good time. Other than that, you will hate it. You'll hate being there.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Nebraska,
Colorado has a lot of
not
cities.
Colorado.
See, Colorado's
We're
cool with Colorado.
Yeah.
Wyoming, you don't even have to go to a city. You just go out and it's just explore the wilderness. Wyoming is also pretty cool if you like nature.
Yeah.
You want to go on a nature walk? Wyoming's pretty nice.
That's a long way to drive for a nature park.
That's better nature. Get attacked by a bear.
You go to Montana, they got bears up there. Big Sky could tell us about that.
Yeah.
I did want to get to this too, as we do have some people say South Dakota doesn't have a state income tax on the text line.
Oh, good for you. You know what else South Dakota doesn't have? Anything. Nothing. They have nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, what? You have Mount Rushmore and Black Hills? I don't care about your Black Hills and your Mount Rushmore. What does Nick have to say?
They have the falls.
Sioux Falls?
No, there's the place, the falls.
What is the falls?
It's like a big, huge collection of waterfalls.
Wow.
It's actually pretty cool. Don't sleep on it. We went there for baseball tournaments all the time, every year. The falls, don't sleep on them.
You know who else has waterfalls? Nebraska.
You're going to say something stupid?
Nebraska has a waterfall. Did you know that?
Where?
I don't know, but I've seen it in
You
videos
played yourself,
and
Rico.
pictures. I don't know where it's at, but I know it's here.
Whatever.
Also has caves. And what, South Dakota has caves?
Husker
Ooh.
football.
Yeah,
took
Husker
pictures
football
in
took pictures in the cave.
You don't see the Yotes taking pictures in caves.
Yeah, get out of here.
Bye, guys.
South Dakota.
Thanks for joining us. And they're all the same. Is what we really need to come to the conclusion.
We're all garbage.
We're all flyover states, but we like to take pride in a few cities we have.
It's like Forky from Toy Story. I'm trash.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I know. What we have in common. We're both trash.
Toy Story did not age well after the first one, but Forky was an
Smith Falls.
pretty good. Smith Falls is what it's called.
Boom. And there's several, look at this. Several up around Niobrara, says Angry Rams guy. Say one more thing about Wyandotte, Colorado. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. You like Colorado, right?
I do.
Most people love Colorado.
Colorado's nice. And I'm not talking about
it's a good
Colorado's
getaway.
nice because of the weed. I'm talking about Colorado's nice because I like Denver's really
Colorado's
nice. I've been to
nice.
Colorado Springs. It's really nice. Breckenridge. We honeymooned in Breckenridge in
went to Breckenridge.
August.
Yeah,
we
Breckenridge
didn't
is
go
good.
during the winter time, which
Yeah.
probably would have been a lot more beautiful. But
Yeah,
we
for
went.
skiing.
It was pretty nice. It was raining like the entire time, but it was really warm. We climbed a mountain. It started snowing on us, but then we went back down the mountain. It was like 80 degrees. I was very confused.
Yeah.
Very confused.
Most people like Colorado because you can get, you can go to Denver and get the city feel there, and of course you can always get any sort of nature feel you want all around the city or all around the state, and then of course, like you mentioned, the weed.
Yeah, the weed. That is also a thing.
For some people, but I do want to get into this too, as we've mostly talked away this segment. But in any case, you never know what starts conversations around here. I want to ask you, who's Nebraska's biggest rivalry heading into this Oklahoma game? Because traditionally, and especially traditionalists, would always say Oklahoma's the biggest rival. Well, it doesn't. It's going to feel very weird by the time that game gets here. The buildup has been awful. Nebraska doesn't want to play. Oklahoma doesn't want to play at 11, and Fox is just feeling awkward about broadcasting the whole thing because Oklahoma.
Dude, the build-up for the Nebraska-Oklahoma game was so on point and it was so good. It was like as soon as it was scheduled, and then you're like, it's 2 more years, it's 1 more year, it's this year, and then it was like, oh wait, then the COVID season happened, but it was like, hey, next year we get to play Oklahoma. It's like, get excited for that, and everybody was super happy. And then I was like, hey, by the way, Nebraska wants to cancel the Oklahoma game. And it's like, wait a minute,
yeah,
what is happening? And then that it didn't end up getting canceled. Then Oklahoma was like, oh, the time came out, and Oklahoma goes, we don't want to play at 11 a.m. This is garbage. How dare you? And now the Oklahoma's like, you know what? We're switching conferences.
Yeah, I don't care if you bring Bob Stoops on Fox. We're leaving.
Like, just so many things have happened. Like, it was so fantastic when it was first scheduled. You're like, we get to play Oklahoma again. It's going to be so cool.
Right.
And then everything just came to a head and just.
That's the point. Nebraska's had a lot of really cool, matchups in non-con. You go back to Notre Dame in the early 2000s, USC in the mid 2000s. Of course, lately, the Miamis, the Colorados feel good to go back to. But Oklahoma is, like most old heads or, Nebraska traditionalists would say, the biggest rivalry Nebraska's ever had. And of course it was, because they were 2 top 5 teams playing for the right to go to the Orange Bowl, sometimes the national championship, for the better part of 2.5 decades. And, so how much can a rivalry get any better than that? But the way that this game's going to feel, it's not going to feel like a rivalry. Oklahoma's probably going to get a sizable victory. We hope Nebraska.
So says you.
Well, hopefully Nebraska can keep that close. But the point is, I don't think that this is going to feel like much of a rivalry. And I think overall it's going to stain a little bit the rivalry that Nebraska-Oklahoma has, because I've always stated that too, because I remember the early 2000s. Some of those games were incredible when Nebraska played Oklahoma. And, of course, even the last time Nebraska played in the Big 12, Oklahoma in the championship game. But I don't know. Like, the more that, like, if you just ask me as a Nebraska fan, who do I dislike the most? I mean, Texas would probably be up there, but you didn't beat Texas enough to be their rival. Wisconsin's the same way. You might hate Wisconsin. They don't think twice about you because they beat you every time. They don't, there's a trophy.
I mean, okay, so if you're gonna go based off of the fact that you haven't beaten a team in a while, you can't really consider Iowa or Wisconsin rivals, even though a lot of people would consider Iowa Nebraska's rival, and some people want Wisconsin to be a rival.
Yeah.
If you're going to go based off of the fact that you haven't beaten a team in a while, or that you have beaten a team in a while and it's still somebody you don't like, I think Northwestern would be Nebraska's rival, and nobody wants that.
Well, and like, I mean, that's a good matchup, but it's hard to say that's your biggest rival. I think that you can include Iowa. To me, Nebraska-Iowa's the biggest rivalry. It just feels like a rivalry. And
I mean, the games have been closer in those games the last couple of years as opposed to the Wisconsin games.
And he's lost 6 in a row. But the point is, there's always been there's something to geography, right? Nebraska, Iowa, I've always had this little bit of rivalry, especially when you go into Omaha. So there's that border war type of feel to it. Also, the fact that Nebraska looked down on Iowa, like the rivalry is developed because Iowa's won 6 in a row.
Yeah.
If Nebraska was just routinely beating them or even splitting it, it wouldn't feel like much of a rivalry. But Iowa's taken over as the program in the rivalry. So I feel like that's the biggest one. I feel like it's almost taken over Oklahoma for me, just because of how awkward the Oklahoma thing's getting. Of course, years pass and pass, and I'm not saying all-time rivalry. When you talk about Nebraska, traditionally their biggest rivalry will seemingly always be Oklahoma, unless they're at the top of college football playing for championships with somebody again. It's hard to envision that happen. It might happen eventually, but until then, Oklahoma will always be the traditional biggest rivalry. But it's just the more the years fade on, and even to the point, like I said, this is the best non-con game you could set up. It brings back those memories, but just how awkward it is to get to this point. Now Oklahoma's leaving, the conference that you were originally rivalries with. Like, that conference is going to dissipate.
Yeah.
It just feels like that rivalry with Oklahoma is so far away and feels less there, that unless you do something to spark it up again, maybe a Nebraska victory would certainly do that heading into the next season, but it just doesn't feel like it's just losing steam over the years.
It's just been so long since you've played Oklahoma. I think that kind of not really killed the rivalry, but it's dampened it so much. If you're not old enough to remember, back in like maybe we'll say like 80s and 90s rivalry, Nebraska game, because you had like the early 2000s, and then Nebraska switches to the Big Ten, and they haven't played Oklahoma since then. So it's kind of killed that, because I know about the rivalry, and I watched the games of Nebraska Oklahoma in the early 2000s and all that, but the fact that Nebraska Oklahoma were just going back and forth, just battling each other like farther back before I can even remember, and then Nebraska hasn't played them in so long, just kind of dampens it for me, where I understand Oklahoma is probably Nebraska's biggest rival, but to me it just feels like you used to play them all the time in the conference, and you would go back and forth with each other. And right now, like you said, I would have to give it to Iowa, like the whole border thing, and the fact that Nebraska enters the Big Ten and it's just like, yeah, we're going to run this. We've got this, scoot aside Iowa, Wisconsin, everybody. It's going to be us, and it's going to be Ohio State. And it's just going to be, we're going to be going back and forth at each other for years. And then Iowa steps up and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, chill. You need to learn your place in the Big Ten. And Nebraska's just, or at least the fans of both teams have really made this more into a rivalry, despite how much they keep saying that it's not a rivalry, because they keep going back and forth at each other. On any type of football post, you always find a Nebraska fan just like, oh, I don't see Iowa on here, or anything that has to do with wins.
It's just a natural border.
Anything that has to do with wins, Iowa's just like, oh yeah, but you haven't beaten us. And they always have the number of days like memorized, like, oh, it's been 6 games since you beat us. You can't touch us. We're untouchable. And you thought that you were just big bad Nebraska, and here we are beating the tar out of you every single year. Like, that's more of a rivalry to me than the Oklahoma one is. But I can see how that is just a massive rivalry, and how you could get back to it with these next 2 games. But then when are you going to play them again?
And do they have, is it Oklahoma or Colorado they have scheduled one?
Colorado.
It's Colorado. And Colorado was certainly in the discussion too.
And that's
after
another
Oklahoma.
Iowa one where Nebraskans don't consider Colorado a rival, and Coloradoans kind of consider Nebraska a rival, but then I don't know why they don't consider them rivals, but both fan bases hate each other. They despise each other. I'm like, that's a rivalry.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to say it's not? Like, I don't understand it.
And of course,
Nebraska fans are like, oh, we've beaten you every single year. Like, you never really beat us. And Colorado brings up the one time that they dismantled Nebraska, and they're just like, oh, yeah, that was one time. That doesn't matter. Like, you guys are at each other's throats. It's a rivalry. Shut up.
Well, I think that there's an acknowledgement there. It's just that the problem was always for that was that they weren't going to be Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, of course, you go back to this realignment stuff and Texas ruining the Big 12. It started when they pulled Oklahoma away from Nebraska. And Oklahoma just is, for as good of a program as they are, man, they are just butt buddies with the bigger Texas.
Yeah.
And it's like Texas pulled them away from their Nebraska rivalry. Now Texas is pulling them away basically from the Big 12 in a conference in which that's going to hurt. Like Texas, we've talked about, it's not at a place where it's ready to compete. It'll be probably about the same for Texas in the SEC. It's going to be harder. They might lose a couple more games. It's kind of hard to climb back up there, but that really hurts Oklahoma because Oklahoma, there's no more losing to Kansas State on the road if you're tired. You're going to be playing you're going to play Alabama and
Auburn
and Ole Miss and
Mississippi
Auburn and
State,
Georgia and
LSU
and Texas and you still want to keep that Oklahoma State rivalry. Like I'm interested where
there's going to be no breaks on that schedule.
Yeah, I just don't think Oklahoma can maintain what they have, and they've had one of the best programs since Bob Stoops took over. Of course, Lincoln Riley taking over for him the last 20 years. Yeah. So I mean, I think for their stability, this is going to be a bad move, but for money.
Well, I don't understand how much better Oklahoma can get outside of winning a national champion. Like, they have a top 5 recruiting class every single year. They're in the college football playoff pretty much every single year. Like, the move of conferences really doesn't improve your stock or hurt your stock. Like, I mean, the only thing it could do is hurt your stock.
Yeah, because they're already at the top.
Because you're at the top of the conference. You've been winning everything. You've been going to the college football playoff, like we said. But now maybe you can get. I hesitate to say you can get better players because, like I said, they're in the top 5 recruiting classes every single year. So, I mean, you get like 1 or 2 players that maybe you wouldn't have gotten in the Big Ten, but I don't know how much that really helps you.
It's all interesting stuff, and we've got an interesting guy to ask plenty of these questions about. Steve Sipple of the Lincoln Journal-Star and Early Break, who clearly I'm a big fan of Early Break because I keep mentioning in this show. But we'll have him come on next here on The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit BonsallPool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool and Spa.
There are fans, and then there's you. You live it. You breathe it. You want to soak it all in. Most sports talk shows are fine, but you find yourself craving more. You need the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Each day, we break down what's happening on the recruiting trail and on campus, bringing you guests from all corners of the college football world. The Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Weekdays at 2 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here's to days spent roaming, and to sleeping beneath the stars, to casting another line and letting time float by. From Shadron State Park to Indian Cave State Park and every recreation area, historical and state park in between. Here's to your adventures, your memories. Here's to 100 years of your Nebraska State Parks. Plan your next trip today at NebraskaParks100.org. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
We're out to prove that having a face for radio is just a myth, and you can decide for yourself by watching all of our shows on 93.7 The Ticket on the new video stream, sponsored by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Now you can watch Early Break, DP and Stevens, The Recruiting Hour, The Drive, and more on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube every day and in real time. Watch 93.7 The Ticket shows today and every day on the Sartor Heyman Jewelers video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube.
Everyone loves a good deal, and there's plenty of great options right now at Brown Shoe Fit for their summer clearance sale. Check out their multiple sizes and widths in sandals with brands like Clark's, Keen, Atrex, and many more. Hurry in for the best selection because this sale only goes to the end of the month. It's the summer clearance sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Baseball's back, and it's time to celebrate, Lincoln. We're inviting fans back to Haymarket Park to join in the fun for the Salt Dogs 20th season. Pick out single game tickets and plot your own Salt Dog schedule around promos and deals. Come to Haymarket Park for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dogs celebration season at saltdogs.com.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training in almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Amigo's new Crunchadilla has the crunch you'll crave. Your taste buds will come alive when you bite into this crispy salsa tortilla that's loaded with melted pepper jack and cheddar, along with your choice of taco meat, Southwest chicken, or grilled chicken. The deliciousness continues with bacon bits, Amigo's famous ranch, fresh pico de gallo, and crispy tortilla strips. This Crunchadilla is a grab-and-go meal all by itself. Conquer your cravings with the Crunchadilla, only at Amigos. Taco making is a team sport. Here at Amigos, we want you to join our roster of the most talented taco artists in Nebraska. When you work at Amigos, you'll be on a team of people who have each other's backs. We offer a fast-paced, friendly work environment and flexible scheduling to fit your busy life. Join our team, meet your Amigos, and become a customer service expert, all while furthering your career. Be Amigos. Apply today at AmigosKings.com.
Talked earlier today about our first CDs. This was one of my favorite CDs, T.I.'s Rubber Band Man. Oh, what a great song. And I used to play when I got subs when I was in high school.
Oh.
Of course, when you get a car, you got to go out and get subs.
Of course.
I was so cool.
Turn the
playing
bass
this
all
music.
the way up.
Oh, yeah.
Turn the volume all the way up, and you make sure that your mirrors are shaking. You're like, I don't want to be able to see who's behind me.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is what I want.
I want all old people to hate me. And now that I'm old, I really don't appreciate people driving by with loud music.
Especially when you have a kid. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's always when you put the kid down for a nap.
That's
Always.
when they drive by.
Always.
Yeah. But anyway, we were all young once and we all had fun with our music there. I did want to mention this too, because I just saw this. I don't know when this happened. Maybe this is old news, but I just saw Grayson Allen was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Was that just recent or did that happen?
It happened earlier today.
Okay. So if you like the Milwaukee Bucks, you no longer do. Grayson Allen,
Sorry about
one
it.
of the most hateable players in basketball.
Those are the rules.
Is now on the champions. Let's bring in Steve Sipple of Early Break and the Lincoln Journal-Star. I did want to ask you this because I haven't been able to talk to you. How much did you enjoy the NBA Finals this past year?
How much did I enjoy the NBA Finals? I was kind of in. I got to admit, I was kind of in and out of them. I did enjoy watching the Freak be the Freak, but I didn't. You know what, Bach? I probably didn't lock in on him as hard as I have in the past. I think it was. It's been a busy summer work-wise. I think that's the main reason.
Okay, it's not the fact that it was Milwaukee and Phoenix, and that's not very exciting.
No. I like the way Phoenix plays. They play kind of a traditional set, I guess you'd say, with a true center, true point guard. And no, I like watching Milwaukee play. I like Drew Holiday a lot. I like their big three, Middleton, Holiday, and of course the Freak. And I really enjoyed watching the Freak kind of take his game to another level. So I just didn't, I didn't watch the final game of the series. And I kind of regret that. And I caught enough of the playoffs to get a good feel for what was going on. I mean, what Milwaukee did was amazing. I mean, winning that series against Brooklyn, I will say this. I know people don't want to hear a lot of NBA talk, but I will say this. That game 7 with Brooklyn, I thought those teams were playing like their lives depended on a win. I mean, I was incredulous with how hard those teams were playing that night. And that's the beauty of the NBA playoffs. You actually see that quite a bit.
Yeah, and of course, maybe that game 7 might have ultimately ended up being the two best teams in the NBA at that point, and a lot of people thought the Nets, even and especially if they were healthy, would be the best team. Do you have any? I don't know how much USA basketball you've been watching tonight, but they go for the gold against France. Are you nervous about that at all, or just haven't been able to look too much into that either?
I have not. I've just been pretty wrapped up in the Husker stuff, and I mean, without getting too deep into the weeds here. We do a college football preview section every year at this time, and it means you're kind of pulling like triple duty. So I've just been wrapped up in pretty much college football.
You're off doing your job. I guess that's fair enough.
I guess.
Steve Sipple, Lincoln Journal Star, joining us here. Before we get to Husker football, and we'll get to those Husker football questions, I did have one question for you too, because we're arguing about the surrounding states. Because I took a visit to Wichita. I was impressed with Wichita. Have you ever been? Would you enjoy a weekend trip to Wichita, Kansas?
I've been there several times, Bach. It was more so when Nebraska was going down that way in the Big 12. I even go, Big 12. I don't, Wichita. I don't know.
Thank you, Sipple.
It's not exactly. I mean, I don't know if you go there for a vacation. I mean, it's not a bad little city though, out in the middle of the middle of the heartland. It's interesting. All of a sudden, there's a kind of a little kind of, I would say it's a blue collary city. But yeah, I've never minded it.
Yeah, it's a 2-lane highway all the way down there. I don't think too many people are taking that trip. But let's get into some football. I know the BTN crew was around, and you got a chance to talk to Jerry DiNardo about that this morning on Early Break, which you can catch on the podcast on theticketfm.com. What do you think the crew, they always make their rounds. What do you think their impressions were coming out of camp this year?
Well, Jerry talked about it today. He kept using the word comfort, that Scott seems kind of more comfortable with where the program's at. Everybody involved, there's a level of comfort that's discernible in Jerry's mind, at least. He says, I asked him, is the roster significantly better athletically, size-wise than it was when Scott arrived? And he said, no, he said, I wouldn't say significantly, but he says it's gradually gotten better. He said the team is more physical. It's interesting because you want to try to get all these answers, but it's just one, at the end of the day, it's just one practice they see. I would say Nebraska made a favorable impression, but it's their first stop, Bach. It was BTN's first stop on the Big Ten tour, so they really have there's not that much context. They did go to Champaign today, which I'll talk to Jerry tomorrow and see what I'm interested to see what he thought of Illinois. But I'd say I don't know about the rest of the guys on the trip, but Jerry came away pretty impressed with Nebraska.
Yeah, and I always do like when Nebraska's like the 5th or 6th trip, because then they start making those comparisons, and you get a little bit more of an insight of what it means compared to the rest of the teams. And Scott Frost is mentioned a lot with this year's team, that matchup with Illinois in week 0, and really that's kind of brought an edge to this camp to really get things going, get the ones out there with the plays that they know. Is it, you know, I know that the pressure is there because it's a week early and all that. But do you think this is something that they might want to take into next year's camp? I mean, if it kind of works well, because it just seems like they're at least, I don't know. It just feels like the pressure of that first game being a big one really has got them, you know, going and not really taking any breaks, trying to get the team in the best position they can because it's ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Bach. I don't know. I mean, it might be. I don't know if next season the schedule's set. So I don't know what I'd have to look to see what the opener is. I understand where you're coming from. I do think it can be really advantageous to a program when it's playing a tough team right out of the gate. I've always felt that way. You know, within reason. I mean, I don't know if it would be a great thing if Nebraska were getting ready to play Alabama in Jerry's world right now. I don't know if they're ready for something like that, but yeah, to play a divisional opponent right out of the gate, I do think it gets everybody's attention, especially an opponent that beat you pretty bad. I've always felt that, Bach, that I do think it sharpens everybody up throughout the long off season. That, you know, you always have that sort of in the back of your mind, right? You know, it's kind of self-evident, you know, but I think it's part of the broad discussion, and I definitely think it's helpful. Well, I don't know about next year though. I don't know what that schedule looks like.
Yeah, and Scott Frost also spoke today to the media, you know, talking somewhat about position battles and kind of what we mentioned so far. Did you have any big takeaways from Scott's comments today, or was it a lot of, you know, sometimes you get this deep into camp, it's a lot of coach speak?
Well, Scott was very matter of fact on pretty much everything, and I think it's, you know, well, here's what I thought, Bach. I thought Scott's demeanor was proper. I think on Wednesday, it was, you know, there was a lot of praise being whipped around from the coaches, which is good. And it's genuine. They talked about how well Adrian's playing, how well, you know, how well, what sort of leadership they're getting from guys like Cam Jurgens, Travis Vokalek, and Austin Allen, and that it all looks really good. And it was pretty, you know, as we say around here, the Kool-Aid was flowing. Now Scott then shows up today, and it's just Scott. There's no other, you know, he's the only person talking to the media today, the head coach. And I thought he kind of dialed things back a little bit. You know, I don't know if it was intentional, but that was the effect. It's interesting. You alluded to it, Bach. They're really settling position battles early. They don't have I wouldn't say there's a lot of position battles brewing right now. Running back, they got to narrow down the receiver field to 6 or so, 6 or 7. They might sprinkle in, it might go up to 8, but you got to whittle that down. And then, you know, I think he mentioned that there's 3 guys vying for the kickoff specialist duties and the punter. I think there's 2 punters trying to win a starting job. So, but there's not a lot. It's a pretty veteran team, and a lot of the positions are pretty settled, which is good. And I'd say, listen, here's what I think. Scott's done a good job of managing the off season. It's been quiet. Camp so far has been quiet, meaning there's not trouble. There's not any craziness, which can happen if you go back over the years. And, you know, it's everything from Harrison Beck, you know, literally being AWOL, to major injuries, to arrests. But man, there's nothing. It has been quiet on that front, and that is good because that means they're focused on football.
You mentioned Harrison Beck, now a TikTok star. I don't know if you've had any time to look into that. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. It's bizarre.
It's very
Harrison was always a little bizarre, even when he was here.
Yeah, I remember when I was like a kid when he was going. I went to one of his concerts and he was screaming like he had like a screamo band. So he was always an interesting character. I won't. I've also seen some videos where he's not a very proper gentleman as well, so I won't plug him too much, but he's certainly strange on TikTok. One last question for you, Steve Sipple, the Lincoln Journal-Star, joining us. As we get into this, we have no clue what any conference is going to look like, I guess, in the future. But if you're the Big Ten, you're kind of in a weird position because all these talks are kind of going all around you. Do you want to make the move? There's whispers out there of Kansas to the Big Ten. I know you've acknowledged there's not any brand names of that Big 8 that's left of the Big 12. Do you think that the Big 10 is just going to be better off to stand pat if you can't get like a Notre Dame?
I don't know that I'd say it that definitively, Bach. I think if I were the commissioner, I wouldn't say the words, I think we'd be okay just to stand pat. I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm not sure I'd rule out. There's not a lot of things I'd rule out. Within reason, of course. I think that there's I think it would make sense to look, for instance, toward the Pac-12. I think there's some teams there. Colorado's interesting to me. I hate to start naming teams, but there's some teams in the Pac-12 that I wouldn't turn down for sure. If it starts looking like it's going to, 16 to 20 team conferences, no, I don't. I think the Big 12, or I think the Big 10's got to participate, Bach. Now, you're right though. There's really nobody other than Notre Dame that you'd say that's just a home run. The Big 10 might even look toward, if the ACC starts breaking up or something, you might look at North Carolina, Duke, teams like that. But listen, it's just sort of I'm just engaging in wild speculation. But here's the deal, Bach. I would counsel people to don't rule out anything. I would not rule out anything right now. And I don't say that just willy-nilly. I was talking to people in Indy. I've had discussions with Coach Frost. I talked to Coach Frost a little bit about it. I know he's not ruling out anything. I'm not ruling out anything. So I think you got to keep an open mind.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad day because it's not the college football of yesteryear, which we've all known to come and love. But it's a lot of change. It's going to be weird, but hopefully it will be fun. But I'm with you. I don't know if there's going to be 4 conferences, 2 conferences, 1 giant conference at the end of this thing. I have no clue what's going to happen. But it's fun to speculate. And thank you for your time and your insight here today. Have a good weekend, Steve.
No problem, Bach. It's nice being with you guys. And we'll see you down the line, okay?
All right, sounds good. There you go, Steve Sipple of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Of course, early break here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll take a quick break and round things out and get you to the weekend here on The Drive on 93.7.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Baseball's back, and it's time to celebrate, Lincoln. We're inviting fans back to Haymarket Park to join in the fun for the Salt Dogs 20th season. Pick out single-game tickets and plot your own Salt Dog schedule around promos and deals. Come to Haymarket Park for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dogs celebration season at saltdogs.com.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
In honor of all those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of our nation and for those who are currently deployed on the front lines around the world to ensure the freedoms we enjoy, let us join together as one community, one nation, with one voice to salute our troops. This message courtesy of our good friends at Gaina Trucking and Excavating at 2200 West Panama Road in Martell. Gaina Trucking and Excavating are seeking truck drivers and experienced excavators. If interested, call 402-794-5000 or go online at gainatrucking.com.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
We're out to prove that having a face for radio is just a myth, and you can decide for yourself by watching all of our shows on 93.7 The Ticket on the new video stream, sponsored by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Now you can watch Early Break, DP and Stevens, The Recruiting Hour, The Drive, and more on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube every day and in real time. Watch 93.7 The Ticket shows today and every day on the Sartor Heyman Jewelers video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube.
Don't you feel so free out here on the lake? Not as free as this soda. Where'd you get free soda? Casey's. Buy 4 fountain drinks, 5th one's free. I love free. Well, then you'll love this. Bought this jerky, got this free donut. I love free donuts. With Casey's Summer of Freedom sweepstakes, the more you buy, the more you can win, including free Lee Brice concert tickets. Casey's, here for good. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. For official rules, visit Casey's.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A few showers around the region this morning, then becoming mostly sunny and hot with a high of 95. South winds could gust over 20. We'll be looking at a chance of showers and thunderstorms very late tonight with a low down to 74 and a chance of possibly strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon with a high of 92. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air's motto is our family serving yours. That starts with how we hire. We go through an extensive interview process to really get to know you and show you who we are. We want to help you build a great career, be challenged, have fun, and bring home an excellent weekly paycheck. We offer competitive wages with benefits, including a day off for your birthday. Apply to be a part of the John Henry's family at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
All right, the latest news in the sports world is a big-time get for Penny Hardaway. Jalen Duren, the top player in the 2022 class, has reclassified himself and now committed to Memphis. Of course, Penny Hardaway, pretty star head coach, of course, a great basketball player in his own right, but hasn't really done a whole lot unless you like NIT championships at Memphis. It's
well, he also lost his best player his first year.
He did lose. He lost Wiseman, his
3 games
his
in.
Player. But now he's got another top player. So hopefully, and I hate it when like the Ben Simmons goes to LSU or Markelle Fultz plays at Washington. I hate when the top players are on useless teams that aren't making the.
It's just like,
the
oh,
postseason.
cool, you're going somewhere where you're never going to do anything.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So let's hope Penny can get it going, and we can watch probably one of the top players drafted in next year's draft have a pretty good career, and hopefully. Yeah, I'm certainly probably a one and done, but a chance to play at Memphis. So that'll be exciting. And good for Penny Hardaway. I always cheer for Penny Hardaway and most former players that get a job.
Always root for Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what we do. Also, I kind of like Memphis basketball. I don't know why. There's like no actual
Derrick
reason.
Rose?
Maybe. That might actually be
Yeah.
it. There's like no actual reason, I don't think. I'm just like, yeah, Memphis basketball, cool. You do you. Good job, Memphis.
I could agree with that. And especially, I mean, they just got a kind of a cool fact with Penny Hardaway and Derrick Rose there in the past. So I guess that makes sense. If you haven't seen a couple other things to update you on, former Husker lineman Brent Quilley signed with the Tennessee Titans. If you didn't see, Prince Amukamara also with the Saints, and he's taking advantage of the New Jersey rules. He's sporting number 6 out there with the Saints. So hopefully both those guys at this point in the season, of course, hopefully they can just make the roster. That's the hope.
Show up and show out.
Other big news today, a couple of big contracts. Josh Allen signed a huge contract to Buffalo Bills, 6-year, $258 million extension. Kevin Durant signed a 4-year, $198 million extension himself. In NBA free agency, how do you like Andre Iggy back with the Warriors? Iguodala?
Yeah, I guess.
Warriors have like either you're really old and you helped with the championship team, or you're really young and you're part of the future.
Yeah,
and there's nothing in the middle.
No, there's nothing in between.
Except for Andrew Wiggins, I guess.
Yeah, well, Andrew Wiggins is a trade piece.
Right. Reggie Jackson also back with the Clippers. He played pretty well.
The Cloppers,
yeah,
as Happer likes to say.
Why is that?
I don't know. He just says the Cloppers. Kawhi Leonard has pretty much said that he's going to re-sign with the Clippers. Just they haven't hammered out the details.
It was great for Ty Lue because it looked like in that first round matchup, it looked like Ty Lue was gonna. If they lost to Dallas, they were down 2
They were
games.
down 2. They were down 2-0.
That wasn't looking good for.
They
Ty
went
Lue.
down 2-0 in their first 2 series.
Yeah,
it was Dallas and then Utah.
Also, and just some quick notes on those big signings. One, Josh Allen. I'm just going to ask you because it's hard to even mention Bills quarterbacks at all. There's been 3 Bills quarterbacks to make the Pro Bowl since Jim Kelly, other than Josh Allen.
Yeah,
you name them.
No, I could not.
Chad
Pennington.
No, Drew Bledsoe, Tyrod Taylor, and Doug Flutie.
Oh,
Also,
those 3 actually should be. Yeah, I should have known that.
Could have, yeah. If I give you more time, man, we're running out of time here. Also, Steph Curry's new contracts allows him to make. He's got a 4-year, $215 million contract.
Mm-hmm.
That means he makes $100 a minute. Could you spend that much money? I mean, could you spend $100 a minute?
I think I could. I definitely
You could.
I think I could.
It would be
well,
hard.
okay. I could spend $100 a minute like for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, I don't know what to do with all this
Eventually,
money.
it's just I can't do it. This is too much money. But
there comes a point
no
where
such
you
thing.
have too much money.
Yeah. Steph Curry might have reached that point. Congratulations to him. And everybody have a great week, and Happer will be back. Big news on Monday at 11 o'clock.
11 a.m. Monday. Tune in.
Be there.